The Pinball Network is online. Launching.
Triple Drain Pinball Podcast.
All right, we are here. We are here November 1st. We're recording November 1st, so happy late Halloween or happy, I don't know, the day after Halloween? I don't know what I'm supposed to say, but hopefully everybody had a great Halloween. As a dentist, Tom, do you guys like Halloween? A lot of candy? A lot of candy, a lot of clients, right? Or no?
Yeah. Keep eating that candy.
Yeah. Perfect. And Travis, did you dress up? Were you festive? Did you participate in Halloween in any capacity?
I wore. Did you not see the picture? I wore my Triple Drain stuff. I went as a podcaster. That's what I went as.
Got it.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't mean to. I just happened to be wearing it. But
yeah.
I went with my kids. I took all their candy. I drank a lot of beer, walking around in circles around the neighborhood. So I was happy.
Perfect. Happy Halloween. Yeah.
Did you use a golf cart?
Nope.
For yours?
Nope. We used our legs. We walked. Okay. And silently judged the people that did use the golf cart. Because the kids got to burn off that energy. They got to run up and down. They got to, that's what it's all about. But no, it was great. Maybe I'll put it in post. Maybe I won't. My son went as a washing machine, which I was so proud of him for doing it.
How do you come up with that idea?
Yeah. So my wife had these ideas of like family costumes, like, oh, we could all be cats. And I was not into that. So we were in the.
What were you like? We're going to be like the brave little toaster.
We were driving down the road. We're in the van, and I was like, "What's a ridiculous costume?" And I knew all I had to do was convince one of my kids, that. And the idea of a washing machine popped in my head. I said, "Calvin, you should be a washing machine." He's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, then we can make it where it opens up, and they can put the candy inside." And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So he was pumped. My wife gave me a look. And that was like 2 months ago, but he remembered and he kept at it. He's like, "Dad, I'm going to be a washing machine. Dad, I'm going to be." So we did it. Paper mache, cardboard box, everything. I'll have to add a picture here in post. But it was awesome. It was awesome. It was an awesome little costume, and it got a lot of laughs. So it made me very happy.
Nice. Cool. Good job.
Yeah.
You're a good dad. Good job, Joel.
I'm hoping this is setting a precedence for ridiculously dumb costumes, moving forward. My daughter was Wednesday. She dressed up as Wednesday, which was funny because my son could not remember it. It's like, Calvin, it's the day of the week. It's the day of the week. What just died in your house? What was that? It sounded like our entire refrigerator fell over there.
So
Travis.
My kids are on fall break also. They're upstairs with the dog. Apologies to everybody ahead of time. You're living my life today.
Tom, did you anything for Halloween? Anything at all?
I won this trophy.
Oh, look at you.
What?
A little bobblehead. Look at that.
Oh, that's a zombie Captain America.
Yeah.
Where'd you win that at?
Player 2 in Appleton.
Nice.
Oh, does it say that on there? I can't tell on my screen. Okay,
yeah, reading
cool.
is hard. I know.
Well, it's pixelated, Joel.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's enough of an intro.
After the intro, Tom, I'm going to ask you more about it.
Oh, okay. Great. Everybody's good? We're all good? I'm hitting the button.
We're three guys who like to talk pinball, so we came up with a clever name. We're Joel and Travis Scott who talk pinball, and we call ourselves Triple Drain, Triple Drain, Triple Drain. We're Triple Drain.
Triple Drain.
Triple Drain.
So,
I have all these magnets. If anybody wants one.
Yeah.
Joel gave me like 100 of these. I have
Expo
100
swag.
left.
If you saw any of us at Expo, first off, thank you. Thank you for saying hi. Thank you for everything. If you saw me, you were probably handed a piece of swag, some magnet, some koozie, something.
Yeah, where's our magnets?
I gave Tom and Travis
You gave
magnets.
us 25 of them.
Yeah, and Tom gave them all away. It was great. He gave them
no
all
joke.
I actually
no joke.
have a few.
At our booth, I set out a bunch of these.
And
It's still wrapped.
Well, okay, not this exact one. I'm saying.
You mean you got more than I did? Because I only got one pack.
Well, Joel just keeps like throwing stuff at me. This was from last May. From a little while ago. So he gave me another one, and I set them all out, and they were gone within like 5 minutes. So either people really liked the magnet, or somebody really hated us and just trashed all of them. One or the other. I don't know. Either way, they were gone.
Yeah, I found it's typically a lot easier to give stuff away when you open it out of the package first, or have it with you, because I'm assuming that bundle of 25 in your hand was sitting there all of Expo.
Well, I'm just saving this for a special occasion. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Tom, for giving away our swag. Thank you to all of our Patreon supporters who funded that swag. So thank you for the support. We will continue to do that, hopefully at shows or whatever, have stuff we can give away. So if you ever see us at a show, please come say hi. Tell us you like the show. Even if you don't like the show, if you want a magnet to throw it away, I don't care. But thanks for
if you don't like the show, make sure you come up to us and tell us.
Yes, please.
Especially Travis.
I love that.
I think I can speak for all three of us, but the nicest people that the three of us all had a chance to meet happened to be Elizabeth Giesche's parents. So yes. I don't know if they're listening right now. Madonna and Dan, they had cookies. They were so kind. They were hilarious. They were so nice to meet. I also think they embarrassed Elizabeth because of how excited they were to talk to us and meet us. So huge shout out to them. They were awesome. Awesome.
The cookies were the best.
Oh yeah. They tracked all three of us down.
It saved part of my tournament life. So
yes. Yeah.
Since I didn't have any food.
No, they were super nice too. That's what was awesome. They were the true superstars of Expo.
Oh yeah. They pulled out the Tupperware, like Gieske on top, pulling the lid. Hey, cookies.
Those cookies were chef's
legit
kiss too. They were so good.
They were great.
I told Monica, I said, "This is how you make a cookie." And she just looked at me. But hey, it's constructive feedback.
Oh yeah.
If you guys ate that cardboard, you'd be saying the same thing.
All right.
Wow.
I mean, you could cook cookies too, Travis.
I can. I actually can. Believe it or not. I know they're not fresh baked. They're the pre-roll, but I can follow the instructions.
Okay.
She'll tell you straight up. She burns the shit out of them every single time. It happens.
I think we need to have a streamed cookie cook-off between you and Monica.
Unless Monica doesn't care. Like she may
run circles around her.
Okay.
I will
go for it. I would run circles around her. I could probably... I don't even watch cooking shows, and she does. And I could probably outbake her by like 2 or 3x.
Oh boy!
Wow. I'm 100% positive.
All right,
I'm very confident.
That's a lot of confidence. All right,
hey, it's nothing about man versus woman or anything like that. It's being married to her for close to 20 years and reliving this Groundhog Day thing with the cookies monthly. Like I'm just telling you guys. You guys would say the same thing if you're in my shoes right now.
Yeah.
Love you, Monica.
There's only one way we'll
I'm
know.
not sleeping on the couch tonight.
There's only one way we'll know. We either need to stream it or next show, both of you bake something and we'll do a blind taste test. I will happily do whatever. If it involves cookies, I'm assuming, Tom, you're in the same way.
I'll be at IAPA if they're both there. So, I mean,
get some
I am so confident. I could go across the country, Tom, and bake these in a hotel room.
Bake pre-roll. You're bragging about breaking. Yeah, so you can cut them.
Well, yeah. I mean, I have a little help along the way, but, I'm being realistic about what my talent level is at this, but yet I'm still confident in it. So that's the key to life right there, guys.
Travis is very confident.
You got to be very confident, but realistic. Yeah, like it's the same way, Joel, when you were comparing your pinball talent level to Monica and kicking her ass at Cleepin a couple of years ago. This is what I'm comparing to. Yeah.
Is Monica good at anything, really? I mean, she can't bake cookies. She lost to me in a tournament.
Man, I don't know.
Poor choice in men. I mean, what does she do well?
I don't know. I'll say this. Yeah, this is why. No, I heard that, Joel. I'm just ignoring that. I think this is why Tom. I tell Tom all the time, I'm a trophy husband.
Yeah,
like that's why
participation. Yep. All right.
Well, somehow it happens.
Yeah. Okay, so Expo. All three of us are Expo. We all three had very different experiences at Expo. Travis was locked down to a booth. Tom was locked down to a large tournament room, and I was walking around with my brother all over, just trying to
just having
do what
fun.
We can do. I choose. I don't know about you guys, but I choose the fun route of pinball. That's why I don't compete.
Travis and I did work
it out. Oh, he said he doesn't compete. All you tournament players, did you guys just hear that? Joel just shit all
They're
over
like,
you.
I don't have fun.
That's not the fun route.
Yeah, no. No, it was a lot. I mean, Jared and I were only there 2 days, and 2 days is, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's pinball or expo can be a lot, but it was awesome. It was so great. So let's go through that. Let's just start with Funhouse, because I feel bad that I put it towards the end of when we did the talk before. I think Travis almost thought I forgot about it, because I did. But
you probably did.
Funhouse. I had a chance to play it. Tom, have you played the remake? Did you have a chance to play the remake?
Oh yeah, I did. At the UK Open.
Tom hates the remake, and I love him for it.
I hated it. I was right there with Carrie Wing, and I told her, like, this is terrible. No, so they had an LE at the UK Open, and the new artwork just like totally like messed with my brain, and it just threw me way off.
Yeah.
So I didn't like it.
Well,
I refuse to go back to it to play another entry.
But see, that's how much we like each other right there. See, this is a key part right here, Joel. No matter what people think, if they think all three of us are shills or get offended by stuff, like literally right here, one of my best friends is shitting on the project that I've been involved on in over a year.
Let me just put it this way. I would have rather played Jetsons. That's all I'm going to say.
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
Was there a Jetsons there? Is there even one in England?
I don't know. That's a great question.
That is awesome.
Though.
Can I use that for promotional material?
Put that on the I'd rather play Jetsons.
We might have another Jetsons around somewhere.
All right. So we'll just here we are.
I have played the maybe that wasn't a remake, maybe that was an add-on kit. Never mind. Good night, everybody.
No.
What's that, the Funhouse 2.0 kit or something like
that? Yeah. So Tom, we'll just that's fine.
That played great.
We've been accused of killing manufacturer sales before. So Tom, here he is, without hesitation, killing all sales of Funhouse. So congrats.
If I was in the market for a Funhouse, I would get one. I just probably wouldn't get the LE. Yeah. That's it.
So I understand. And I know Travis has before talked about, like, he doesn't look at the upper third of a pinball machine. All of his shots, he lines them up with artwork, or like that's how he kind of judges where the ramp is. So I could understand how a new art package could really throw you off.
It really messed with my brain.
Yeah, but
I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure if I got used to shooting it, it would be fine. But like first try, no.
Yeah. I met Carrie for the first time in person. She was great. Clearly the best hire the pinball company's ever had. So good on her. But it was great. It was great being there, and I had a chance to play Funhouse. Travis gave me some coaching. I've only played Funhouse 2 or 3 times, but to actually get a little crash course on do X, Y, and Z, and I get it. I understand now. I understand why people like that game. There's I played the remake, but not the new.
You played the original code,
yes.
And you actually did very well on it. I will give you props. He put up over 7 million, I think. Is either 7, 8, or 9 million. He actually did some things on it.
I'll take it.
It was.
That was better than my entry at the UK Open.
That's why he turned around immediately. He's like, "Was this good? Did I do decent?" I mean, he was being serious. I was like, "It's a decent score, Joel. You did fine."
It was
I had to begrudgingly give him props in front of everybody.
It was fun though. It shoots great. Like it's I don't know. I have no, I felt like it was well built, beautiful game. The flippers felt good. I mean, I have no complaints with how it played. Now, then again, I don't have, countless hours on an original game to compare it to, but I understand the appeal to it. It's just kind of fun to play. It shoots really well, creative shots. Bopping the guy in the mouth is a great time. Like, I get it. So I know when it was revealed that was the game that was being remade, I was like, Funhouse, really? And now I get it. Okay. So if that's
people don't realize how much, even from a used game perspective, that game sells. Like it's for whatever
very
reason,
popular title.
Yeah.
I actually have a patient who asks me about Funhouse like every time he comes in, because he knows I play pinball. Nice. And that's like his favorite game. So
and you tell him, don't buy one from the pinball company?
No,
don't buy the LE.
I definitely said.
Yes. Go buy a used one.
But no, it's
better.
it's a popular game to people that have been around pinball for a while. But then at the same time, it's one of those things that people got to remember. And this is a big reason why Attack from Mars, Medieval Madness, and all those, Monster Bash, even behind you. This is a big reason why they stay popular even today. Because a lot of times, if you go online, you'll see like top 100 rankings, right? Whether it's on Pinside or even on our website, we have top 50 rankings according to like different data points. But new people to pinball will go on there and they'll look at that. So it kind of guides them down that road. Like, what else is there besides just a brand new modern day pin? And that's kind of where that comes from. And that type of data being available, I mean, that's essentially what it is. But that was the other part I was kind of blown away by. I don't know if you guys noticed this. A lot of people I talked to this year at the booth were brand new to pinball within the past year. And I was floored how many people I talked to that just now either bought their first game like since 2022 or had just discovered pinball just in 2023 and just decided to go to an expo. Like, it was amazing.
I didn't have that experience, and what I mean is, the majority of people that I talk to either watch the stream or do trip, like this podcast.
Right,
so,
right.
For people to watch pinball streams or listen to pinball podcasts, you've gone another level in to the hobby. But for you to
100%.
be manning a booth, Travis, you're seeing everybody, and that's awesome. That's really exciting to see that the hobby's growing, or that there's continued interest in this, even during a point where just with the economy, it's not like people have the money to blow on fun toys like they used to, a few years ago. So that's really exciting. But no, I felt bad for you for being in the booth for so many days, but it is your job, and I get it. Because,
I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. I mean, it is what it is. You gotta do certain things, but I tried to get around and hang out with as many people. And if I didn't get a chance to hang out with you, or if I had to have a short conversation with you, I thoroughly apologized. But but TPF, I'll be there, not manning a booth, so I'll just be able to do anything and everything. Yep.
Then just enjoy the show. So, Tom, you streamed an excellent tournament. It was awesome. I had an opportunity to commentate again. I did some commentating with my brother and you, and then you subbed out and Neil stepped in. And I think it was like 3 hours. It's just, it flies by. And honestly, I walked away. I love it. I love it. I don't know if anybody enjoyed my commentary or not.
Probably not.
But I loved it. It was, Jared had a blast doing it, and you got the best seat in the house. You're watching the stream and just taking it in and seeing that high level of play and the way that they attack these games. I had a blast doing that. So thank you for letting me do that. And
it was good. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
And Jared too.
That tournament was awesome. It was really cool. Did you, when you did have an opportunity to step away, Funhouse check. What other games did you have an opportunity to play at Expo with your little time off?
I guess we'll get into this a little later, but so Travis and I went to Stern to play Metallica.
True.
And then so I got one game on Metallica.
Well, we'll just do it now. That's fine. We can
okay.
If you want. So I was not there. There was a Stern media invite. This was Thursday morning. Just media people were invited to it. Unfortunately, I was not going to get to Expo till Friday, but Travis and Tom, the two of you, had a chance to go. So you go ahead and tell me
once
all
they
about
found
it.
out Joel wasn't there, they're like,
they were.
you guys got to leave. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
I go the opposite. The floodgates opened up. There were so many more people at this one than the one in May. There was a lot of people there, which was cool to see.
And I heard there was a lot of like Arcade 1-Up people, like not normal pinball content creators.
Arcade 1-Up, arcade people.
Yeah.
It was good. I thought that was good.
Yeah. So it was a bigger crowd. Did they do the whole tour? Was there a lot of conversation, or it was just let's dive right into Metallica?
But we got ushered away, and like we were like, what's going on? Because we were like the only ones like not in that room. And Travis and I were like, what the hell is going on? Like
it was very informal.
Yeah, we were just like, you guys got to leave. We got to get more people in here. And I mean, we were like, okay. But then, like, all of a sudden, like, everybody was in that room.
Oh, the arcade
It was like
area.
just Travis and I. But then like Gomez came up and talked to us and Seth Davis.
Nice.
So it was really cool. It was really
Nice.
cool. And some of the other employees too, but
Yeah, we got to talk to Mark, who does the animations. Got to talk to Jack for a little
Mark's
while.
awesome.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude. And plus two, that's when we got to talk. Yes, exactly that. We got to talk about the Picard look on X-Men. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of cool stuff. You don't realize, especially if you haven't ever been to the Stern factory before, just how massive the operation truly is, and how much goes into just producing these games, from the ideation of it, the conceptualization of it, to just actually getting it to market, and then the continued live support afterwards. It's a large undertaking. It really is.
Yeah. So side story with Mark, Jared and I talked to him for a while. So Mark is he's one of the animators, and he did pinball, then stepped away, came back, and he's like all in on his element. And I was asking him about X-Men animations, because he went from Venom animations to John Wick to now X-Men. So it's like to go from 2D kind of comic book art to then photorealistic background and cars and action animations to now back to X-Men. Huge comic book fan, and he's like, we're doing these storyboards about this is the panel and this, and somebody's like, well, the shot goes from left to right, so we'll have Nightcrawler like do this to move over here, and he's like, no, that's not how Nightcrawler teleports. Like, it's a poof, it's a here and then a there. There's no movement, and it's like, so to get these like people sharing their experiences from the comic books, from these years of enjoying the product, and then get to draw it, and he said the direction they have is Zombie Eddie has essentially established the characters or the character drawings, and then as animators, they are trying to match what Zombie Eddie has done. So it was awesome. It was really cool talking to him when he was there. But anyway, so you guys are at Stern, Metallica, and just to reiterate, Tom, you've said before you're done with New in Box, you're done with LE.
Done.
It's just don't
no
do
more
it.
LEs.
Yeah. So you bought an
and
LE.
then
Yeah.
Metallica came out. I'm like, shit.
Yeah. So you saw it. What was it? Because we know Ray Day screwed up the code. We know he ruined it, right? I mean, that's what Ray does. Ray, the ones and zeros with Ray, he just ruins it. But what was it about the game? I mean, you saw it, and how quickly did you know once you saw it? You're like, I gotta buy it.
Yeah, it was it was the artwork and the whole like changes that were made. They did such a good job with like new inserts and just new mechs. It's still the same Metallica game, but it's also different because they added different features as far as code. I was just overall impressed. That like just seeing the artwork, but like it was like, oh wow, this is really cool.
Yeah,
it was more Metallica themed than like the original.
Yep.
But
you owned an original. You had owned original for years.
I had a premium Monsters, which I got rid of, I think, at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And I actually wanted an LE originally, and I was originally told I was going to get one, and then the distributor kind of backed out on me and said, "Oh, I had too many sales. I didn't have enough allocation, so." They ended up giving me a little deal on a premium though, but still, I really wanted an LE, and so this was nice. I mean, it's nice to know I have an LE coming of a Metallica.
So you're talking about the original this is years and years ago when Metallica originally came out. You were trying to get an LE.
Yep.
So you just had to wait. You had to wait 10 plus years, but now you got your LE
Finally
coming.
got one.
I think it is an interesting, on the pinball show, Zach and Dennis had an argument about whether or not this is considered a new game. And when you actually go to list Like, it is all new animations, all new art. The spinners now are Opto spinners.
Who said it wasn't a new game?
Dennis doesn't think it's a new game. He treats it as like...
I'm sorry, brother. You're wrong. That's right.
I get it. I mean, I understand it's the same layout. It's the same basic... I mean, it's like they took everything the original had. It's not away
the same exact layout, though.
10% of it and then added a bunch more. And what the only thing they took away were the DMD animations and the art. And then... So
well, there's a couple other things though. I mean, there's one major change to the actual like formation of the final layout, and that's the post on the left that prevents a lot of borging to happen. Like a lot of drains out to that left. There's a post there now.
I didn't know they added a post.
There's a post there. I could have swore there was, right? I'm not going crazy here, Tom. Am I?
I didn't know of any physical changes, but hey, you guys were there. Maybe you were told.
I know we were there. Yeah. Like, I'm hoping I'm not going crazy. I mean, I ate a lot of candy yesterday night, so you know.
It's the beer,
and
Travis.
I just want to say, Craig Bobby killed my enjoyment of the game because he kept talking to me while I was playing. I'm like, Craig, Craig, let me just play the game. Craig,
even with that, he's still he still bought one. So I'm excited about it. Hopefully I'll have a chance to play it soon. From a distributor standpoint, Travis, is this how are sales? Are you excited about this game?
Yeah, I mean, it did well. We had to make sure that we did not oversell our allocation of LEs. On it. And I mean, so one of the things about this is that's for a variety of reasons. I remember when the webinar was happening, I texted you guys immediately. I was just like, this is going to be enormous. Like, this will sell very quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can just tell. You could tell the vibe of a pin. You could tell just the popularity of a certain theme. Obviously, Metallica's been popular for years in pinball.
Only 500.
Yeah, that's the key too. It's one of the things is you can drive a lot of desire for a certain product based off the number of units available. Mm-hmm. And when people feel like, wait, there may not be enough for me, and you get multiple people feeling like that, that's naturally what creates the FOMO.
There's only one Tom Graft, and that's why he's in such high demand. Right.
But it was funny though. Like, this game was unique because I've heard of some LEs still being available at the end of the week if people like really, really search for it. And that was even at MSRP. And then I've heard of other LEs that are repopping for 15 to 18,000 too.
Which is crazy.
I mean, and people just like Metallica. So you're going to see different dynamics of it and everything. But I just know seeing it at first on the webinar, and I think we were in Chicago when this came in. So I was already there. Mm-hmm. And I think it was the morning of the Stern Pro Circuit Championship final. So it's like I was doing two things at once. But yeah, it's just as soon as you saw it, you were like, okay, this is going to be cool. It has enough added on to make it remastered, to make it feel like a completely new experience, yet familiar enough to where you're like, I remember that this felt great before. And now it's just feeling great on steroids. It's essentially what the gameplay felt like to me once Tom and I got to play it at the factory. And I think even before the factory, I got to go to a dealer event the night before at Topgolf, and they had it set up there. And yeah, it was fantastic. Now, what I will say is, and this could be good or bad depending on how you look at it, the gameplay, it plays a lot longer, which for a lot of people, that could be great. And that's for a variety of reasons. I think one, because that post that's there on the left side, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, I don't think it was there on the original Metallica, but I might be losing my mind. And then they have virtual ball saves on both sides that I think can be earned. I'm not sure how to earn them, but they're there.
That wasn't in the original code?
I don't recall that. I don't recall that.
Freaking
I don't recall that. But admittedly, I play Metallica like the original, like in competition. So I don't know if it's something's being turned off or not.
Yeah, it could just be turned off, yeah.
But the mechs felt good too. Like the snake never rejected on every copy that I played.
Nice.
Ramps, orbits felt good. And I actually like the redesigned Sparky. I know that's like 50-50 because a lot of people love the original Sparky from, I guess it was Dirty Donnie. And I don't know if there's certain reasons why they had to change it. I've heard there was. I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I like the new Sparky too. Plus, you get the UV ink on it, so that's really cool. The new magnet in there, where you have the upgraded magnet, is really cool. And I like how they did the 5 lights in front,
Yes.
so you can see your progress towards
it's
it.
a lot easier to tell progress now.
Yep.
Yeah. Even on Crank It Up, because of the LCD, and this is a good thing with the LCD, I like how they did this. You could tell where you're at on certain things immediately without having to like scroll through the info.
Yeah.
Even the
So I did
snake
like
shot
that.
felt better to me. And not
Yeah.
only that, like it held the ball longer during
Mhm.
like your multi-balls and stuff, which I like.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was
That's awesome, right?
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
talking to Ray Day, and this is credit to him, but I was like, so what did you do? You went to the original game, copy, paste, boom, done, right? And no was the answer. I mean, porting this game over to Spike 2, he said from a rules standpoint, a lot of the base rules, that is something you can essentially copy paste, but it's a whole new system. So all the light choreography, all of that had to be redone. Not to mention they added inserts. So it's like all the inserts now, with some of these, some of the light choreography, all of that has to be redone. Obviously the additional code, there's new modes. There's like a hurry up mode and some other mode.
72
Yeah, like an ultimate wizard
Seasons,
mode or
yeah.
something.
seasons, yeah, sorry.
But on the scoop on the
brain
right,
fart.
instead of just Crank It Up, there's additional things over there. So there was a lot more that needed added, as well as the code in the background for what's going to be displayed on the LCD, like you're saying, additional UI things, progress, stuff that wasn't in the original game. So I'm excited. I'm very excited to play this game. I totally understand why it's sold well. I also think it's a cool opportunity for people to get the original Metallica at a cheaper rate than they were, a month ago. It's just the original Metallica to me is like a top 10 game. That's a game that I've considered owning. So I'm really excited to see, as Travis said, that game on steroids, to see it even better. You can tell by everything behind me, the expression lights and the speaker lights, expression lights.
That
like
was
more
the
light
biggest
show.
thing.
I can't wait.
Well, I'm glad you pointed that out because I meant to say this too. The expression lights on it, I felt, was by far on any other machine that the expression lights have been on, it felt the best on Metallica.
Awesome.
Like it made the most sense. It like everything about it
Yeah.
was just excellent. And I say this with LEs that are already sold out anyway, so it's not like we're shilling it or whatever. It's just a fun game. It's Metallica. You get to play what's a classic Borg design. You get to play Lyman's code that's just in his rules and get into the mind of Lyman. It's just so much fun to play. And then you have the add-on additions that Raymond's done to where he is polishing up some stuff. He's adding on some stuff that doesn't take away from the legacy of the game. It just adds on to it. And then, the artwork is subjective, like, whether you like it or not, it's totally up to you. Cause I know a lot of people prefer the LE artwork over the premium. And I'm one of those too. Like, I think the LE artwork looks fantastic.
Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything about it. I know it's cliche, but everything about it just pops. It just catches your eye compared to anything else that's around it. So yeah, I think the machine is going to stay popular for a while. I would like to think if the original Metallica did not exist and this was like the first iteration that we ever saw about it, like I think that the whole entire community would just be absolutely gushing about it, more than anything else.
Yeah, that's
I there's just a lot of value in it. I mean, obviously the code is near complete, which is awesome out of box. The shots feel good. Shots don't reject. Flippers feel snappy.
If this was the original Metallica, people would be like, "Oh, Borg reused the Guardians layout."
You're probably right. You're probably right.
But no,
Touché.
I'm excited. We'll have to wait and see on it and get more experience. But it's just you've probably have the same thing. People reach out to you and they're like, "What should I get? Should I get the new X-Men? Should I wait on Metallica? Should I do this? Should I do that?" And I'm like, like Metallica's a known thing. Same thing. People are like, should I get X-Men or should I pull the trigger on Jaws? It's like, well, Jaws, I understand Jaws isn't done, but it's a known, like that code is pretty much done. Like it's a known thing. Same thing with Godzilla. I saw a comment and they're like, oh, I'm about to buy an X-Men, but maybe I should just pull the trigger on Godzilla. It's like, Godzilla is a known thing. So if you want to go with the safe bet on this is an established, fully fleshed out, finished game, it's a known thing, do it.
Right now, if you're buying a John Wick or an X-Men, you're going to be waiting for code updates.
Yeah, it's kind of there's a question mark there.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things too. It just, like Tom's alluding to, it depends what journey you want to have as a pinball owner.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to join the live service thing to where you see the progression of it and you know it's going to change, or do you want to be with a game that's already gone through all that for close to a year or whatever? You know,
True.
it's just, I guess it just depends on what, you know, what experience the buyer wants.
There's the Elwyn effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the buying games. Yeah, when a new game's coming out, people. Yeah. So, well, the good news is people are going to be able to get X-Men's for cheap soon because Travis has killed all sales. He's killed all sales for the game. He did it single-handedly. He has because you know he hates Stern and he just he hates fun. So Travis put out a video. Travis put out a video, and I say all this with sarcasm, but I think it's actually a really good video. And it shows a lot about the challenges of designing pinball in code, in early code, and having to think through so many different situations. But Travis on the Pinball Company's YouTube channel put out a launch party tutorial strat video for X-Men. He recorded it on a Pro, and you can summarize the video in really, really easily. When in doubt, you shoot Midtown. You shoot the shot to the left of the Sentinel head.
When in doubt, ramp out.
When in doubt, ramp out. Now, what is interesting, though, I watched the video. Tom's done it. Even Carl D'Angelo, he's all made comments about trying to follow the strategy that Travis showed, which was on Travis's model, he could hit that shot, that middle shot. It's a middle ramp. It feeds the right flipper. He could hit that shot from either flipper, from a cradle, at speed. He could hit that shot all day. And the way that the code is currently established, you can progress through almost everything in the game, every mode, qualifying modes, every multi-ball. It's like
most of it, not everything, but a large percentage.
A lot of it you can get away with just hitting that shot over and over and over again. And so as of right now, well, that was 0.85. I don't know, or 0.86. They just released 0.87. I don't know if you've seen any changes, but as of right now, if you're in a launch party this week, next week, when in doubt, ramp out right in the middle. Just keep hitting that shot, and you're going to progress through the game. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Travis? What are you felt? What was it? Dirty? You felt that you felt? Yeah.
Well, I mean, so yeah, to back up, to kind of tie this in with Expo too, because Expo was the first time I'd finally gotten to play an X-Men. Like both of you got to play it way before I did. Yeah. And so even then, you know, playing a few games on it, I was more or less trying to find shots. And the copies that I played on at both the dealers thing, at the Stern factory, and I don't think I got to play it at the show. I don't think I ever did. But even then, it was like, you know, sometimes some of the shots worked as you thought that they should. Other times the ball was flying off wire forms. It was just very setup dependent, just like we were talking about. Mm-hmm. And so even the game that I set up for at our studio, it's like we did nothing to it at all. We just set it up, and all I did is just find the pitch and say, okay, I think I'm just going to go with this. We'll see what happens. And, you know, for the most part, center ramp, midtown ramp works from both flippers. Now, if you get flipper fade, you have to hit the shot solid or it's going to just fall right back. I mean, and that's typical. But I don't know. I mean, overall, the game, the code is what it is early on. I think really what happens is that I got lucky in figuring this out early on, because one of the ways that I try to discover code is I try to compare it to what the shots feel like. So what shot is repeatable, and then what things in the code apply to that shot. So that's what I do. And then I just keep building out my model from there. And what happened with this is I discovered, okay, you can qualify your missions here. Like, all right, now how's the mission play? Well, okay, here's the missions that actually work with this shot. And it just happened to be two of the challenging missions that worked the best, that were worth more points at the time with the code. And then I discovered, okay, wait, I can actually get an extra ball also if I hit this shot, just because you qualify the extra ball, or you get it, you collect it at the right in lane. And then from there, I just realized, wait, I can keep leveling up the Beast Lab, which is the mystery awards and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's just part of it. That's part of discovery in pinball, is that you get ideas and you think about what is possible, and then you test the ideas against like whatever you have in front of you. And it just happened to be like, wait, I'm trying to hit all these other shots I'm getting like maybe 50 to 80 million if I play really, really well. But then I'm realizing, wait, even if I do that, all the points are on the back, right? On the back end of it. So I'm like, okay, what can I do early on that's simple, that anybody could pretty much do? At least they know how to do it. Anybody could do early on. And that's kind of the goal with those videos, is to figure that out. And it just happens to be, it just lined up. That's all it is. So, I mean,
I think every new game, you competitive players, you're at just a different level. And almost every new release, there's typically an exploit of some kind found relatively quick. And then, that's the strategy. And then normally the game designer or the coder will code it out, or they'll find, Elwin's even talked about, he's more than happy to comfortable releasing games unfinished, because he wants to see the way that, the upper end players, even the average or the lower, like, how are people playing these games, so that he can make sure he can shift or redirect to make sure there isn't one blatantly obvious, the only way to win strat. And that's fine. It just happens that with this particular layout, and we talked about it with X-Men, the fact that if you hit a shot, every single shot returns to a flipper. You can't. You have to address that in code. You have to make sure you design. You have to make sure you design the modes and whatnot, so that you can't exploit, just whatever, one shot over and over and over again.
Right.
And so it's early. It's still very early in the code. It's one thing. Gomez said this game was pushed ahead, 6 months in the schedule. So I have no doubt that they will hopefully adapt that in some way. Maybe you just once, when you get to the future, it's like, once you hit that shot, you can't hit that shot again until you hit another shot. There's a lot of little things they could do. Yeah,
and there's so much more that you could do. I think it boils down, and I always go back to this. It boils down to game theory, right? And so with game theory, I always believe, and there's a saying, that the behavior a game rewards is the behavior it encourages. So if I know I can hit a shot over and over and over again, and it's safe and it's worth enough, compared to anything else, I'll do that. Now, obviously, if there's something else that seems safer or worth more, even with the risk, then we'll do that. And Tom and I talk about this all the time, and I'm sure other tournament players discuss this with each other. It all comes down to just game theory. What's safe? What's efficient? What can I be most accurate with and get the most points on? And that's kind of the way we view it. And when you're doing a launch party video, the very nature of a launch party, it's a tournament. The very nature of tournament is scoring the most points to win. And that just happens to be what it is. Now, if we're just wanting to explore the game and see what's going on, there's probably other ideas in it now that can lead to points, especially with the Danger Room. I've noticed with the newest code update that just came out yesterday, I went and tested some things, and there is some extra scoring in there now. It just depends if you want to take the risk or not. And that's the key to pinball, is creating risk reward. And I think it'll be there either way. I've gotten to where I don't judge code super early. Like, I just look at it, I'm like, okay, how is this? What can change?
Is what it is.
The same. It's the same way we talked about Avatar, right? We were going through all of it and we were trying to figure out what it was. When you were explaining to us, it's like, well, why not just do that? It's like, you come up with ideas and you just test and you just see them. That's the fun part of it. Every game plays different.
So, Tom, you have played, I think it was Lumberjack Johnny's that had the LE, and then now you have a Pro in your house. What's your overall experience now that you've played two completely different models? Or, what's your initial thoughts on putting time on X-Men?
I like the Pro better. I said this the last podcast, I just don't like how the game screws with you in the premium and LE. You get on, you hit a shot and then the ramp breaks and then your ball goes out of control, or like you hit a shot and like that finger stops the ball and then it launches it. Maybe it's me being a tournament player. I just don't feel like I should be penalized for hitting a shot.
Now I got a question for you, Tom, just on that, because I don't know enough about the premium. Do you know what triggers that or when that happens? Is it during a mode, or is it just
once you qualify the Sentinel head, then the Sentinel's ready to attack?
Okay.
Is that thematically that's what it is?
Carl mentioned this in one of our chats, that he is avoiding the Sentinel head as much as you can, because once that raises up, that next shot that's going to go over the left hand, it's going to break the wire form.
Okay.
So it's like once he shows up, but you can also see there's a flasher. There's a flasher on each hand. If it's red, that means it's going to attack.
So does that switch back and forth then? It could be on
the right hand. I don't know what qualifies the right hand, but when it initially raises up, it's always the left hand.
It basically just nullifies the midtown shot, which is a center ramp, and the subway shot, which is kind of like the hidden right ramp that's behind the Sentinel head.
And what's dumb is it's not well, not dumb. It's that's the game, but it's for a time. So it's like it's your fault for hitting the shot. It warned you like the hand's red, don't hit the shot. But what's funny is you can hit the shot, the midtown shot, it'll break the wire form. It'll come down to your right flipper, and you're like trying to survive.
How would you
hit the midtown shot again? It's still broken. It'll do it again.
Yeah. How would you feel? How would you both feel if that was attached to a mode instead? Like Sentinel Facility Raid or something like that, or some type of menu. Because I feel like you could make use of that, but you need to make use of it in very specific ways.
Kind of like the original X-Men, where like you'd start the Iceman mode and then like the ramp would move or a certain mode. Would
that make you feel a little bit more better about it, Tom? Like, would you be like, okay,
I think it brings up another question though, that it's like you don't want your mech to be hidden behind code, and so that's something where like I know my wife when she played X-Men and the finger stopped the ball and flicked it back, that was like a moment for her. She's like, oh, that's cool. Like she like that stood out to her, like, oh wow, like that's neat. And so if all of a sudden you've hidden, the hand functionality behind a mode, there'll be novice players that'll never get to that mode.
I won't lie, Joel. When I was playing the premium, that damn hand on that wire form like broke away and the ball went right down the middle, like 4 times in the same game. That did not feel like a moment to me. That felt like a kick in the nuts.
About the finger. The finger,
I got you.
See that.
I feel you.
But I think an easy solution with the hand is you add
that's what I wonder,
a short ball save where and you get 1 or something.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
it's kind of like, so the finger on the game, that kind of makes sense to where I don't feel like that.
It's giving you the finger. Right?
Yeah. Well, I don't feel like it could penalize a player. Whereas if you're playing on a certain copy, like imagine if you coin drop in, right?
Yeah.
And you're playing on location, you hit the shot, and then it just dumps it right out the out lane or down the end, and you're just kind of like, exactly. So I see it both ways. Like, I get it. It's a design choice. And with that design choice, you got to figure out the code. And Joel, you're right. You don't want to hide the mechs behind code necessarily.
Imagine if you were playing Godzilla and every time you hit the ramp there, like the bridge opened and dropped the ball.
I would not be friends with Keith.
So it's like the moment the building goes down, instead of it just goes down and it just, it's like, you destroyed the building. The building's gone. It's up to you.
I'm talking about the bridge.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, every time.
It's just straight,
like it keeps just dropping the ball.
You can't swim.
Yeah.
But then within the game, how do you stop it from happening?
That's what I'm insinuating, Like,
what do you mean how you stop? It's always, that's the thing. When that Sentinel heads out, that will...
It's always, like,
break.
no matter what?
It will stay lit until you break it. So you have to take a shot for that.
So when it breaks, does it go back or does it stay broken?
It'll stay down for just a second or two while it does an animation, and then it goes back up.
And then it won't break anymore?
I think you have to hit... Yeah, it's all related to Sentinel. So I think you have to hit the Sentinel a certain number of times, or once he goes down, when he comes back up, he'll be ready to go. It's like, it's a thing.
I do feel like they could have a cool challenge mode with that though. Sure. Like, that's the interesting part. I feel like you could do something with that to have a pretty cool
specific mode for it.
Yeah, like battle the Sentinel or something like that. Like I think there's something there to that.
But if that's one of the key main deciding purchasing factors between the Pro and Premium, you don't want all of a sudden like, let's actually use this mech way less. I just think, and at least on mine, the one that I borrowed from Zach, when the hand broke, you could save the ball. You just had to pay attention. And that's the idea of like, you go to hit a shot and you get that little mental break of like, oh, I just hit the shot. Like, you relax for that split second because you have time for the ball to get to the flipper. If you relax when you hit that shot, you're screwed, because it's like, you got to know, okay, I'm going to hit the shot, but I got to be prepared. I got to be prepared because it's coming back at me. So I definitely think you could work with it. I'm not opposed to it. I just think when Tom said that he likes the Pro better, Jared and I were we wanted to play a Pro at Expo because we're like, okay, you take the hands out of the equation and then the head stays up. That's really like the Beast, leaper target. That's kind of a,
I do agree with Tom.
Sells.
I felt better on the Pro.
We like the
premium
Pro
for that reason. Like
we
I like how the ball
yeah.
kept flowing. Yeah,
I think the Pro is a solid game.
Yeah, I think this is easily going to be one of those Pros that kind of like a Turtles Pro or a Deadpool Pro, where it's like the premium's a great game, but the Pro still kicks butt. Like that is a I would not feel like you're missing a huge portion of the game. Like I know people that love Jaws Pro, and Jaws Pro is a great game, but that upper playfield adds so much, in my opinion, to the overall experience of Jaws. I don't necessarily think the hands are at this point, like you have to have the hands to experience what X-Men Pinball is. What X-Men Pinball to me is a crazy layout with some really awesome wire forms that whip back and forth and a cool danger room. Like all that's still there. So if you're in on a Pro, I think you're going to love it. If I was to buy an X-Men right now, I'd probably buy a Pro. I really like it. The only thing I like better, I'm not an LE buyer. The only thing I like better about the premium, honestly, is the art. I just think the cabinet art on the premium is better than the Pro. But
the LE art is fantastic.
Really
good. And the foil, the foil side art is just like,
oh yeah.
Chef's kiss.
To me, Stern, if you want to force people to buy premiums, expression lighting, put expression lighting in every game. Like that, to me, I'd be a sucker. If X-Men, only X-Men Premium and LE had expression lighting, but the Pro didn't, I don't think I'd ever buy a Pro. I'm that much of a sucker for lighting. But that's just me. So
you're getting your John Wick pretty soon?
I'm still waiting for my John Wick Pro expression lights.
Well, hopefully they make those.
Did you order them?
I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah.
Okay, so X-Men check. I think Stern in general check. Two amazing games. They had a huge booth. I mean, Expo, the line to play Metallica, they only had 2 or 3 there. I never had a chance to play it because the line was so long.
Somebody told me they waited 3.5 hours
to play what?
To play X-Men.
To play Metallica.
Or sorry, Metallica. Yeah.
Wow.
X-Men, they had so many X-Men's there. You could play all the different models. But I mean, a lot of people I talked to really were impressed by X-Men when they played it. So I mean, Stern did what Stern does. They were great.
I went over there a couple of times just to I'm gonna go warm up on a game. There wasn't a free game. Everything was packed.
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy.
There's a lot of people at Expo this year. A lot.
Yeah. Okay, Stern check. We talked about Funhouse. Let's talk about so Avatar. I've played the heck out of Avatar, streamed it, had a great time with it. Tom, you had played one before Expo, right? Or no?
Yes, I streamed it.
That's right. Yeah, Lumberjack Johnny's had it.
I beat your score.
I don't doubt that at all. Travis had his first experience with Avatar. Initial thoughts. What did you think of Avatar?
I sent you the video of me playing it.
Yep. And you loved it. Yeah. I think to its credit, I think it was later in the day that you played it and you had some mechanical issues. There were some
So I got to play it. I got to play it 3 times. And I will say after playing it, I still want to play it again because I want to give it its due. Like I'm trying to find shots and trying to figure out what is going on. One thing I really did like, I don't like the placement of the shot, but I like what happens when you hit the shot. And it's the one with the upper right flipper. It's super early when you I don't know what shot it is, what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about, Joel, where it wraps around like super quick and it comes back to the flipper. Like that shot, that's a pretty cool look. Yeah. Like just seeing the ball path of that. So yeah, there's some stuff on it that I enjoyed. I think it's just, it was kind of weird because I ended up getting the game into I thought it was updated code to where they took out like the infinite add-a-ball thing.
Okay, yeah.
But I was on like ball 3 in a multi-ball and there was like the balls just kept getting added just over and over and over again. and I don't know what was happening exactly. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what the rule set is in certain spots. But, overall,
if you have questions, let me know. I made this awesome tutorial video.
I need to.
I studied the chart.
Overall, the very first one I played felt like it shot fine. I mean, with the flippers and everything, the flippers felt good. But yeah, later on when we went to go play a CE, because we wanted to see like, okay, how did the playfield look first off? And then we just wanted to like experience that. But unfortunately, the flippers were just malfunctioning a lot. Like the left flipper would either chatter a lot or just not fire at all. So that was fun. But overall, it was. So I noticed something. I sent this to you guys that it seemed like the playfield art, like something was just off with it in terms of like what I was expecting whenever the lights went out and the UV and all that. But I couldn't place what it was. And then somebody else pointed out to me that I guess it had like a UV light.
There was a black light on.
Yeah, black light.
All the time.
Up above. Yeah. And then I still wasn't quite sure what was going on. So I went to like the Pinside thread just to see like if anybody else knows it. And sure as shit, like apparently, I guess something was changed from what I don't know what it was. I still don't know what it was. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No,
I don't. I did not read the thread. I don't
know. It's like I was expecting like the red to look like a little bit more red, I guess, and just the way that the UV was, but I'm still not quite sure. Like I don't know if it was something with the playfield or just
I didn't
something
see
with the
that
lighting
one.
or what it was.
I saw the one at JJP when they did the media day, but they were using UV flashlights, to point directly at the areas. And I just think the biggest challenge that I see with that playfield is the art's there, but the art is very small and detailed, and they just don't have that many UV lights above the playfield.
Yeah,
so when
that might be what it was. Yeah.
When that kicks on, so if they had a UV light above it that was on all the time, then you're just seeing the art. The art's never going to change because you're just seeing it all the time. If you don't have that, and then you're relying on the UV lights that are built into the game, you really have to have a dark room to see an impact. So if there's some aftermarket mod maker, Pin Stadium or Pin Lights or somebody that makes a set that can trigger when the eclipse happens, I think they're going to sell a ton, because I think it just needs more UV light. The ink's there, it's printed. It's just, it needs the light to see it. But yeah, I did not play Avatar at all when I was there. Obviously I streamed it, so I was not going to wait in line for it, but I did hear positive. I mean, there were people that played it and I think are surprised. That's a layout. That's a very unique layout, a unique shooter. So I still think the overall perception of the game was positive coming away from that. I talked to Mark Seiden when he was there, and he had a lot of people say the same thing, come up to him and congratulate him or say how excited they were about that. So, cool. So JJP, check.
Well, I want to play it again. Like I will say that, like I want to play it under a circumstance to where it hasn't been like just played
worn out.
Obviously the games are played nonstop. Everything goes to that. So it's like whenever you do play a game at a show, you tend to be a little bit more forgiving on like what your overall perception is of flippers and everything, because they get played nonstop and it's a physical machine.
Have they updated the multi-ball rules yet?
I think he said they have.
Did. Somebody told me they did. But but I want to play it again. I want to see. So
it's tough because you want to go to a show to experience new games, but at the same time, please, everybody remember, these games are going to play different than if it was in your house. Everything's a little weaker. They're getting hundreds of plays nonstop the whole time it's there. And then you can't hear the audio for any game. You can't hear the audio at all. Yeah. And that makes an impact. If you really want to know what that sounds like, go up to any of your games that are in your house. I itched my nose, Tom. Gee, thank you for calling me out, though. Appreciate my daughter calls me out all the time.
Why don't you get a vasectomy while we do this?
Wow. Quick side note. Thanks for everybody that said, hey, I apologize to anybody that listened to it. I had multiple people, good and bad. Some people thought my little rant there at the end was hilarious. Other people, they're like, dude, you gave me PTSD. I had a vasectomy and you brought me right back to it.
I had over 5 women come up to me at Expo. And the first thing they said was, I can't believe we sat there and listened to Joel talk about his balls.
You know,
And I'm like,
that was
you
a
and me both.
realization
You and me
afterwards. I
I
realized
was traumatized. I don't know about you, Travis, but
well, so I told my wife, and she listened to about 2 minutes of it, and she's like, "Why did you talk about this?" And at least what I told people, I was like, when I record, and I hope it's apparent, I'm not thinking of a professional production here. I'm just thinking about let the three of us have a fun conversation.
We're three idiots with a microphone. Yes. That's the
and if
bottom
I
line.
can make the two of you guys laugh, I'm going to do it because it's fun. And it's just, I didn't think about, you know, when I had shout out to El Rucco, Leslie, I met her in person. She told me that she started Triple Drain when the plane took off, and then she fell asleep. And when she woke up,
which is perfect. That's what our podcast.
She was in the middle.
Do.
Yes, play it for your kids. They'll fall asleep in a second. She woke up and she's like, "I woke up and you were in the middle of the whole vasectomy conversation." And she's like, "I was so confused. I had to." She's like, "I had to go back. I had to rewind to understand what you were talking about." Because that's where. So, anyways, I apologize. If you enjoyed it, I'm glad you enjoyed it. If you didn't,
you enjoyed it.
If you didn't, I don't know.
We might even have a new segment. Everybody, how's Joel's balls doing this week? All right.
I think we're
best
good.
was our picture outside of Stern.
I know.
With the big ball.
With the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, that was our most interactive post ever. I think we got the most.
So, with all that said, what were we talking about?
What's our next game?
Well, okay, Stern check. I wanted to say, yes, if just understand games that you play at a show are not going to be the truest form or the truest experience of the game. But Spooky, I went to Spooky. There was nothing new there, but this was my first opportunity. We played Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Looney Tunes at Texas Pinball Festival. I had a chance to play both of them here. The code has clearly progressed a lot. I felt that both of them shot better at this show than they did there, so I was impressed by that. Jared had never seen or played Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That game is disgusting. That game is so. It is like we walked away, and Jared said the same thing.
He's
Kids,
like,
Joel. Oh yeah, it's kid friendly for sure.
You should get one.
And he walked
Put
away,
in
and he's
your
like,
kid's bedroom.
He's like, I just feel gross, but at the same time, it's so good. Like it's really well done. That's what I'm saying. Like they really. If Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a theme that you're into, that game did it. That game did it. They did it justice. It's all in there. The sound effect, that was one game I could hear. The pig squeals and the screaming and the blood and the blood. I mean, it is so over the top in every way. So
did you go out to eat afterwards?
No, I did not. We did do that and then go, we went and played some barbecue challenge. We did do that. That was, similar in a way, but, American Pinball, we did, I played Legends of Valhalla so Jared could experience that, and he came away like, all right. I mean, it was kind of a just meh. And then we played Barbecue Challenge, and we couldn't hit a ramp. It was the same thing. I played the best barbecue challenge I've played was at Interium. Both of that at that, like in that bar, I could hit the ramps. But I've played it at Texas Pinball Festival and now at Expo. When you introduce pinball, Expo power to that game, you can't hit the ramps. And insult to injury, there's spinners on the ramps. So it's like, I can't even hit the ramp, let alone get a spin. So it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate that that's how a lot of people are experiencing that game. Because when you play it at Interium, it shoots fine. Like, and then it's like, yeah, the game's got to be able to shoot for you to experience the code. So yeah, American Pinball. We're kind of in a wait and see situation. I mean, the rumor is Cuphead. Hopefully that's coming out sometime soon. I also know Spooky. I would assume they're going to have some sort of reveal before the end of the year. So wait and see on that. Turner Pinball. Did either of you guys have a chance to play Ninja Eclipse?
I did. I actually got to play it at the very end of the show, and it was a lot of fun. And we actually bought one, like not me personally, but we bought one for our showroom to take a look at closer. I was very impressed with what they were able to put together.
Yes. Jared and I were in the same boat. I've played that thing. I've seen the whole lifespan of it. We played the Whitewood. Whitewood at Texas 2 years ago.
Didn't you play that with us, Joel?
Yeah.
With Raymond, me, and you. And then they had no idea.
Yeah.
Raymond, like
who Ray was, yeah.
Yeah. I think both him and I put up the top 2 scores from what they said the day. And then Joel, little old Joel there. He had fun.
I put the third highest.
He put the third highest. He did. He
but it was, it was, I mean, it was a white wood. There was nothing in that game when we played it. And at the time I was like, not to be rude, but it's like, oh, it's cute. It's cute that you guys are trying. It was kind of like props to somebody new in pinball thinking they can make pinball, like just kind of a humble pie situation, like good on you. But then fast forward to Expo later that year, and it's like they got an art package, but it was in the Zizzle cabinet at the time, this thin. It's like, why are you guys trying to revolutionize and change everything? You don't need to, but it actually looked like a product. Like, it's not going to sell because it looks like or feels like a toy, and you're selling it at whatever, I think it was like pro price, like this, it's good step in the right direction, but still a long ways to go. Then I played it at Texas this year, and it's actually in a real cabinet. They got the art is incredible. They did a really good job on that. It's actually a fleshed out game, but it still had some geometry issues. Like there was that side ramp, I could not hit it. But it was like, wow, okay, they're still chugging away on it. They haven't given up on this project. They're still cruising right along. And then I played it here, and it's like, this actually shoots well. The art's there. They've added more to the code. There's good light effects. Like, they are really, these are the 4 games were there, customers took home. Like, they're building these games. And I talked to Chris Turner, the head guy there, and I was like, do you mind taking off the glass? I want to show Jared what that looks like. The way that glass is in the frame, built into, they have like essentially the LED lights built into that, which are now coded into the game. Cool lighting. One of the modes was like a stormy ship kind of mode, and like the lights are like flickering like lightning. I mean, it was really impressive what's in this game. And then they take the frame off, and then he lift up the play field and showed what they did there. And they're huge PCBs. It's like, our assembly process is super easy. This is this huge. And I'm like, well, some people's complaints with the PCB is like, if that one LED dies, then the whole board is garbage, right? And he goes, nope, thought of that. And he's like, the way that these LEDs are added, you could leave the PCB attached to the game, and you could desolder the LED from this side and resolder on a new one, because the way the tabs and I don't know if you guys knew, but the Turner Pinball, the games have acrylic play fields, or they have a plastic. The top layer is not wood; it's plastic. So all of a sudden, all the negative stuff about Haggis that I've heard, I'm like, well, how did you address this? If you over tighten, won't they crack? He goes, nope. The Haggis, they used acrylic, while we use polycarbonate. I could be wrong. Maybe those are swapped. But he's like, ours will never. It won't crack. It will only bend. I'm like, okay, well, what about delamination? He's like, well, we tested a whole bunch of this, and even with hot and cold, the way that we've designed it, it won't delaminate like they did. I'm like, well, okay, are you using standardized mechs? Because I know Haggis had to use specialized mechs. He goes, every mech in this game was bought by Pinball Life. He's like, you just have to use the right. So it's like, every question I had of potentially, it's like, they're actually learning. They're learning from the failures of others. They're taking criticism. They're listening to the community. So if people bought one, I don't blame you. I mean, to me, it's still a question mark. It's an unknown thing. If I had that money, I'd rather buy a Stern Pro. Chill, right? But it's just confidence in that. But to see what they're doing, yeah, it's like, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them for toughing it out and really putting in all this energy and effort to really make an awesome product. I'm curious to see, Travis, what you guys at the Pinball Company see out of this machine. But some of the the technological advancements they've built into this game are heads like, wow, that's impressive.
Well, that was one of the things too, getting to play it. And Tom, you said you didn't get a chance to play it.
I didn't get a chance to play a lot of games because I was stuck streaming the tournament.
Darn. But yeah, so I got my chance to play at the very, very end of the show. Like, games were turned off. We came over there, and Dom and Carrie, who are part of the group that I'm with, they had already played it, and they were just gushing about it. Yeah. Right. So I was like, well, I played the Whitewood. I haven't seen it in a long time. I haven't played it in 2 years. And so I wanted to come over and check it out. And I remember when we saw it, I guess I forgot what show it was, Joel, that we saw it last time, that some things had changed on it. And I remember that the feedback on that wasn't great. So I know that they changed some additional things on it, but I didn't get a chance to play it then. I just got a chance to look at it. But yeah, here they fired the game back up and I got to play one ball and it was just, the shots felt good. The flippers felt good. That was the biggest thing. The flippers felt good. And, I knew what to shoot too. Like the playfield did a very good job at letting me know, okay, here's the shot that you hit now. And I thought it was really cool, the scoops, firing the ball back and forth. And now they've added a target up top to where you have to lift up your flipper. If I remember this correctly, I think you have to lift up your flipper and it could hit that target too. And that's after the ball goes from like an out lane to a scoop to another scoop and then firing back. So yeah, there was some cool stuff to it. And I'm interested to look at that machine closer. And I think that's one of the reasons why we got it, because there's some ideas there that I think could take hold. And yeah, I'm curious to see where they go with the ideas that they have and with what they have at their disposal for the next project as well.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Talking to that, there's some technology that they have built into their machine that I think they would love to license out. I think that's the idea that, we're showing how this works. So if we could license this to a manufacturer, that would be awesome. Which is good on them. Good on them if they think that they've designed something that others could use or grow or learn from. But honestly, I'm nothing against whoever designed the layout of this game. But I think if they brought in, an established pinball designer of somebody to help design their next game, I know they're artists, and I feel so bad because I think it's I can't remember the guy's name, and I don't want to say the wrong one. But the artist that is currently there, I apologize once again. I think they've hired him full time, or like he's exclusive to them now. And so they got a great artist. But if you can get somebody, an established pinball designer that's available, and bring them in so that the buyer base has that confidence of this is a guy. I don't know. I see good potential there. But I think I saw in Nap Arcade that I think they have to build 100 games and they're all sold. So they've technically sold them out. So this is the hard part of pinball, right? Actually making them. So we'll have to see how well or how successful they are at making those. And yeah, I definitely think 6 months from now, a year from now, I'll be curious to see what's coming out next for them or where they're at. Barrels of Fun was not there. There were Labyrinths there. They were being played. I know they're still chugging along on their games. CGC was there kind of. They the only thing they really revealed kind of was on Pinside and some leaked photos from the CGC tour. They showed the Cactus Canyon add-ons, what the mechanical add-ons are going to be in that game. So at this point, it is going to be a motorized saloon door in front of Bart, and then there's an opto spinner. Not an opto spinner, it's another type of spinner, but it spins well. It's the same spinner that's used in Pulp. A holofax spinner or something. But anyways, it goes to the marksman shot. So it's the shot directly to the right of Bart. So they're adding a spinner and they're adding a new light to indicate how many locks you have for the mine. So, some simple mechs there, but then not simple, but some, smaller mechs that I think will add a lot to the game.
Was that at Expo or just online? Okay. What was at Expo?
Well, it was in the CGC tour. So there were people that saw it and had a chance to I think even Neil McRae played it with the mechs in the game.
Right.
And then there's pictures on Pinside where they've shared some of the new modes and stuff that are going to be in the game. But what was actually at Expo? Pulp was there, and I think Cactus Canyon and a few. It was just. Yeah, nothing crazy. So, Pulp Fiction LEs are being made. That's new news. They are being made. Finally.
November 1st, 2024.
They are being made. I think they're still... I think everything's there but the topper, but they may be shipping the topper separately. I don't know, but they are being made. They are being made. They're moving ahead. So it's just a matter of time, Tom. Just a matter of time.
All right, so what about... Okay, so there's one other game that I can
Space
think...
On?
Well, there's a lot of other games.
Did you play... We'll be real quick about Space Hunt. Did you play Space Hunt?
Too many games.
No. I don't even know what Space Hunt is. I heard about it, but I
French
I didn't get to play that or the the Tony Hawk game. I didn't get to play that one
either.
Those are the two I heard about, but I never got to play them.
My real quick review of Space Hunt is the art actually looks funny. I mean, it's non-themed. It's a pinball. It's a weird theme, but it looked good.
He likes that the art is funny.
It looked good. I mean, the colors.
Is it better than Pinball Adventures Punny Factory?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Way better.
Oh, was that there?
No. My only real complaint with Space
Hunt
last
year, not this year.
Is the unique mech to the game is this weird upper playfield with this dangly, almost like a tilt bob kind of thing. So, I walked up to the game. I'm like, well, how do I get up there? Well, there's one ramp to get up there. It's a super tight shot, and they put a drop target in front of it. So you have to hit the drop. It drops down, and then you have to hit this super tight shot clean because it needs a lot of power to get all the way up to that mech. And the best part is the drop timer's timed. So you can hit the drop, you get, 30 seconds to hit it. And then if you don't, it comes back up. So you got to hit it again. So I only got up to that upper playfield twice, and there's nothing fun up there. I thought you'd want to hit the little dangly tilt bob. No, you're trying to like loop the ball around it. And
okay, yeah. I saw the game you're talking about. I didn't play it, but I know what you're talking about now.
I finally got up there and did it, and it was just I walked away. I was like, that's a shame. And what I mean is, don't put the coolest mech in the game hidden behind code or like behind a really tough shot. Like so many people will never experience that upper playfield because of how hard that shot is. So Space Hunt. But I think the game you're alluding to is Alice. Alice. Is that the game that you're alluding to?
No.
Yeah.
ABBA, of course.
Oh, ABBA. Well, no. I did not play ABBA.
I forgot that game.
I played one game of ABBA.
How'd that go for you, Tom?
Not well.
Not well? Did you enjoy it?
The flippers seemed weak.
No, you didn't like flippers?
Yeah.
No.
Do you think that's the game or Expo Power?
And then the rubbers on it were like, I didn't like the rubbers.
Interesting.
I personally think that might be the game too, because Queen and
it was
Alien
the only
were
one
kind of
that
the
was
same way.
available, so I was like, "Oh, I'll go play that," and then just didn't shoot.
I haven't.
Did you at least
yet.
get to hear the music? Did you hear the music at all?
Yeah, I heard one song that I never heard of before.
Did you enjoy that?
Catalog? No, I didn't.
No, you didn't add it to your mix. You didn't add it to your.
Was there anything redeemable about your ABBA experience? Is it ABBA or ABBA? We always.
Yeah, whatever.
Abacus.
I mean, it was okay. ABBA. I mean, but
it's a pinball machine.
It's a pinball machine. I'd want to play it again, I guess, to see.
Okay. Well, there you go. At least you want to play it again, so that's good.
Apparently, I will be streaming it at some point. So once I stream it, I will have an opinion. But
fantastic. Can't wait for that. I did get to play 2 games of that. And one of it, I will forever be pissed off now too, because I bought a book that Roger Sharp had wrote a long time ago, very difficult to find book, and I wanted to get him to sign it. And so the moment I leave the booth to go do something else, he comes by the booth to play Funhouse. And by the time I get back over there, all of a sudden everybody's like, yeah, he was over here like about 20 minutes ago. I'm like, oh my God.
Nice.
So yeah, totally missed it. But yeah, I think the pinball machine's fine though. I mean, if you enjoy it, it's fine. It's a good thing.
I will let you know once I have a chance to play it. But okay, games that I did actually play though. Alice. Did both of you have a chance to play Alice?
I did. I played it.
Nope.
Tom, did you
line
play
was
it?
too long.
Line was freaking long. Yes. I played it
The
twice.
line wasn't long when I went over there, which was, I think, because it was towards the end. Like everybody was already.
Because everybody was watching the tournament.
Well, I think that it was that, and also when Stern brought Metallica out, that spread other people out elsewhere. Yeah. So that's what I was waiting on. So yeah, that
Go ahead, Travis. Tell me about your Alice experience.
Oh, let's see here. Okay, I'll start with the good. The good on it is that I knew what shot I was supposed to hit every single time. Like the inserts clearly guided you through it. There was no guessing of should I hit this shot or should I not. So it was pretty crystal clear on what you needed to do to progress through everything. So that's a good. The layout is what it is.
Yep.
I didn't find it hard to play at all. And I don't know if that was just the setup or just the layout in general. I think I was able to get through every single mode. So the game was set to 2 balls.
Yep.
And I remember by ball 2, I just ended up just letting it drain on its own, because I think I got through all the modes that there was to do and a multi-ball. But the weird part was I never got up to the upper playfield.
I don't know how you didn't, because one entire mode is focused on the upper playfield.
See, that's what I thought too. So I don't know what happened with that, because I did watch Monica, my wife, played too. And I did see her get up to the upper playfield. So yeah, and I don't know why I didn't.
So that is something she's good at.
She got to the upper playfield.
Yeah, but there we go.
But after watching that, her reaction to it was hilarious. She's flipping around and she's just like, is there anything else that's going to happen right now? And I'm like, nope, that's it.
Yeah.
That's what it does. It just kind of goes around. And it was, that was what I expected though, with a larger upper playfield like that.
Sure.
It's just, yeah. I mean, it didn't seem that exciting to me, but I mean, maybe other people had fun with it, but overall, it's an okay game. I just don't like the layout. Like
are you going to stream that, Joel?
I doubt it. I don't think we're going to get one.
No, Alice.
Well,
here's what I don't.
He's not a distributor for him, so I don't know. And I
don't
think he
baby.
bought one. True. I mean, sure, if somebody ever trades one in, but
here's what I don't understand. And maybe Joel, you got to play it, so you can answer this. I don't understand why on the gameplay reveal of Alice, right? To where I think it was Carrie Hardy and Chris, they both were on there together. And for whatever reason, whoever was playing the game, I don't know why they were having such a hard time getting the center ramp, because that shot is wide open. The copy I played on didn't have any rejects at all. And it, you could shoot that all day long. So I don't know what your experience was with that.
So my experience, when you're in the moment, so the way you qualify a mode in the game is the mode is qualified by default. You have to hit the center ramp, and then that'll lock in the mode.
I'll be right back.
I think it's basically you have to hit the center ramp and then you have to hit the scoop. Right. But you can change the mode. So you can hit the center ramp, which means the scoop is lit for your mode. But then if you hit the pop bumpers, that'll change the mode. So there was a time where I had the right pop bumper. I had got to the right mode. It was like the Knave of Heart or something. I don't know, but whatever. That was the mode that put you to the upper playfield. So I was hitting the orbit trying to get my pops to finally get to the right mode. And then once it's there, then all of a sudden it's like, all I got to do is hit that middle ramp, and I couldn't hit it. And the guy watching me, he's like, well, now you know what it feels like when I'm trying to hit the shot at 2 a.m. So I get it. I mean, I stream. You're a competitive player. Sometimes easy shots become very hard when there's pressure.
No, they don't. Easy shots stay easy shots.
For some they do. But no, my
here's
initial
what's
impression.
Concerning though.
Okay.
Here's what's concerning.
Yes.
And maybe since you played it, if you have a difficult time with the center ramp, how are you going to handle any other shot in that game? Because every other shot
That's the easiest
is
shot in the game.
Yes, and every other shot is clearly more difficult than that shot.
Get it.
Clearly. So
I would say my initial impression, the first time I played the game, it was Jared and I and Zach Minnie who was there, and our initial impression was like, this game shoots fine. Like we were expecting it to be a brick fest or a tough shooter because that's what we saw on the stream, and then we were just hitting all the shots. We're like, this game shoots fine. Like, what's the problem? There's no problem here. And it wasn't until, and I had everything lined up to start the upper playfield mode when I drained, thinking like, oh, no problem, ball 3. No, they had it set on 2-ball game. So I was like, okay, I got to play that game again because I've got to get to the upper playfield. I want to experience that. I think it shoots fine. I think the game, everybody's heard it. The art is subjective, but the physical things in the game, beautiful. The sculpt's beautiful. The topper's awesome with the
topper
eyes.
Looks pretty cool.
I mean, it's a beautiful looking game. If you're a pinball enthusiast that likes having like that trophy, that collector piece, this game will look great. Just sitting it will look great, and it shoots fine. A weird shot though is you hit the right orbit, and the way the ball comes around, typically an orbit shot goes to the left flipper, right orbit, left flipper. No, this goes to the right flipper. So that kind of threw me for a loop. So you got to get used to the layout, but it shoots fine. It kind of has that J-pop type feel.
But I didn't like what was underneath the upper playfield though,
which you can't see. Yeah.
Right. You can't see it yet. It has targets back there
There's
and a
drop
post,
target
and you're supposed to like nudge it around to hit stuff. And I did not get that at all.
This comes back to this thing I said earlier, which is don't make your cool mech. Don't hide it behind code. So anybody that walks up to Alice,
Joel is all about that. Tom,
hate
do you know what shot we're talking about here, Tom? Have you looked at Alice?
No idea.
So underneath the upper playfield, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's targets, like stand-up targets that kind of go around in like in a half circle.
On
and
Alice?
they're blocked. Yeah, exactly. On Alice, yeah. And they're blocked by a drop target. So you got to drop the drop target down and then you can hit it. But there's also a post. I can't remember if it's a star post or what, but something is there too that essentially you have to nudge the ball off of, like to just hit back and forth kind of. So instead of like a pop bumper there, it's just that post.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can't see it all unless you're like 5 foot or 4.5 feet. You literally cannot see. You have to bend down to look. So that part of it's just.
I was not trying to do anything under there.
It was really odd. Like I did not understand that shot.
My entire goal when playing was just to experience the upper playfield. And what I'm saying is that upper playfield is huge. And if you have anybody that walks up to that game is going to be like, ooh, how do I get up there? And to make that a challenge. Yes, I finally did it. And I got up top.
Everything you hoped it'd be?
It was no, it was fine. You're playing with
5 stars. What would you give it?
Kinetic satisfaction, I'd give it like a 1 or a 2. Like it's not,
what?
But because there's no
Joel destroying Alice.
There's no
you heard it here first.
I killed the sails. Yep. Well, there's no like the ball comes down and you got to look at the art and the way the magnet. If the ball goes past the magnet and you turn it, you like pulse it on, it kind of whips it around and throws it back. So if you really spend a lot of time, you could potentially get a little bit of control. But I would take soggy, weak flippers over a magnet all day long because you can act like the magnet is such a wild card that it's like if you're actively trying to accurately do something up there, it's so hard to do it with magnets. And maybe you would get better if it was yours and you played with more and more and more. But the problem is when you mess up, the ball's off the upper playfield. So then you need to quickly hit the left orbit again. That's how it uses a VUC to get back up there. So the mode, I was able to do it. It happened really fast. The ball just flew off. Then they're like, that's fine. Hit the left orbit again. I hit it again. I had a second attempt. And that's when I was able to actually like, there's enough power to hit the shots. It's just very uncontrolled. And
was it fun to actually hit the shot? Like, did it actually? Because on the version we played, the Monica, she did hit the captive ball or whatever that was at the top. She hit it solid, but it still didn't do anything, and then it just kind of fell in that little saucer.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like, man, that's a lot of work to experience the one mech in the game that I'm excited to experience. And my initial experience wasn't like, whoa, like it wasn't like,
well, and that's what I was talking about last episode. I mean, you look at Twilight Zone and you're just trying to get a ball basically to go into that hole. Yeah. Whereas this is like, you're trying to hit targets, you're trying to hit the captive ball. I mean, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but
it feels like you're supposed to do a lot up there
with magnets.
With you doing very little. Like that's, in my experience watching other people, that's kind of how it came off.
I agree.
And I think it's just because it's just so expansive too.
Yeah,
like if you have
huge.
a magnet, you have a magnet, I would think you would want to condense down the experience as much as possible, just so that ball just is ricocheting all over the place. But it didn't really feel like that.
See, the one,
but if you like frustration, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
There are good upper playfield, like the Foo Fighter upper playfield's great, Jaws is great, Simpsons Pinball Party upper playfield's great.
But those aren't magnets though. Like this is very much different without a flipper up there.
What I'm saying though is, so Shadow has the battlefield. It's not a magnet, but it's this weird little wedge thing that you bop, and it's hard to control, but it is controllable. But the battlefield has drop targets that are popping down. So it's very, you get that kinetic satisfaction of seeing this thing bop the ball and the drop targets, and you want to hit them, and then they drop down and boom, you get this like reward of the ball coming off the upper playfield. It's like, that's fun. This, I don't know. So
you're basically saying it's a better design is what you're saying. Like,
I just think it's,
and that's what it is. It's true. Yeah.
to me, it is what it is. If you're in on an Alice and you're excited about it for this World Under Glass, this experience, it's there. It's just, to me, I think I have to be sold on a play field. I got to be sold on wanting to shoot this game. And the way that this game's laid out, there's one ramp. It's right up the middle. You got a right orbit, left orbit. You got a weird shot, turnaround shot in the left. And then the right orbit will divert to another ramp sometimes. And a scoop. Like, it's just, it's not a game that I want to shoot. Like, X-Men was a game I wanted to shoot over and over and over again.
Did it play better than Thunderbirds?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. The flippers felt fine. I mean, that was a good thing. It played better than Raza. I'll say that up front. It played way better than Raza. And when I played that in 2019 at Houston Expo, that was just a hot mess, but this one played a lot better. But I mean, at the same time, too, it still didn't capture, like, if you're a J-pop fan and you like Circus Voltaire, you like World Cup Soccer, like anything like that, I didn't feel like it captured that feeling of playing those games.
There's a lot of kinetic satisfaction in those games. Shooting a goal on World Cup Soccer is awesome. All the Toys and Mechs interactions with Theater of Magic, Certain Voltaire, like, none of that was, it wasn't there. It wasn't there, in my opinion. So,
but if you like Alice in Wonderland and boobs, maybe this would be the game.
That would be it.
Maybe it would be. Yeah, it could
all
be.
right. Was that all the games? Is that all the games?
Well, no. Now we have the, we're missing all the homebrews. There were some cool homebrews.
I did not have.
Did anybody go over there? Was I the only one?
No, I went over there.
I wish I had time.
There were lines.
That's true.
I did play the Greatest Showman. That was cool.
So you did go over there. Yeah.
Yes,
that was cool.
That was the only homebrew game I played. And it shot, I mean, it's Whirlwind, but I was super impressed. Jeffrey is the guy's name, and his wife, they made the whole thing themselves. Like, she did all the code. It's super impressive to see, like, she doesn't know that at all, but figured it out. And, super bare bones, kind of very, 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 very basic rule set. But, it was a fully playable game, and really impressed, with the quality of it. Was really nice, but it's a reskin. It's a reskin of the game.
I think it goes to show, though, there's something there. If you take some of the old Bally Williams stuff and you reskin something to where it's something that everybody can identify with, you might be cooking with gas there with like 500 to 1,000 units, because I could see Greatest Showman appealing to that many people.
Maybe
actually, I don't know if it'd be on a Whirlwind, but it was cool how it thematically made sense to where they had the ticket booth be at the two scoops and you're collecting tickets. So that was pretty cool. I enjoy it because I like the theme. So that was a fun game.
And I know Jaws is also a reskin on Whirlwind, but they made that game is super theme appropriate and very well fleshed out. And
Jaws,
not Jaws. Well, Saw. Wow.
Saw. There was a Jaws reskin, but it was on something else.
Switch some letters there. Saw. Shout out Glenn for all the sound. In Saw.
Saw.
Okay, so what did you see? What was there a homebrew that stood out to you?
There was, but I can't talk about it on the podcast. And if you know, you know. I'll have to tell you guys afterwards. I'll have to tell you guys afterwards.
All right.
Yep, straight up.
Screw you, listeners.
Cool stuff there. The people that know. I'll put it that way. But I will say overall, the homebrew area is really cool. I try to get over there as much as I can. I want to talk to some of the people over there more and meet them more. Like, just get into the minds of seeing, how they're doing, what they're doing. And it's fascinating to see people, their interpretation of pinball, right? Yeah. What shots are interesting to them, what rules are interesting to them, what themes are interesting to them, because that's like a niche within a niche within a niche right there. And I think it's really cool that it seems like it's expanding. Like, every single show, it feels like it's expanding more and more and more. Like, more people are wanting to get involved in that niche. And so, there's some really cool stuff over there. I honestly can't think of all the themes off the top of my head, but there's some cool ideas there for sure.
Yeah. Well, Expo is awesome. If you've ever wondered, Chicago, I mean, it's worth going to. The only two shows I go to are Chicago Pinball Expo and Texas Pinball Expo. They're awesome. They're both fantastic. There's a ton of industry people there. There's just so many people that all love pinball, create content. It's awesome. Tom, do you want to talk about your tournament? The Expo tournament. I know you did it the whole time. Was there anything that stood out to you? Good,
it was
bad?
long.
Those damn kids on those default Sterns taking forever. And some of the old people too.
Yeah.
Andy Bagwell, he's older. He plays well.
Yes.
Raymond, we claim him now since he's above 30, right?
Who was when I was commentating?
He kind of floats between.
He's
Raymond.
When I was commentating, there was an awesome game of Jaws, and basically, I don't remember the guy's name, but he was from another country. But he that dude,
was it Roy? It was Roy Wolf.
Was it him? One of the guys basically like did the whole game. He did like multiple bounties, all the modes, lit, had 4th of July lit, and it's just
he's
to see
one of the best players in the world, and over in Europe. Yep.
To see him just work through that was it's so cool. It's so cool to see just somebody, that's how I play pinball, is progression. I want to see as much of the game as possible, and I think sometimes tournament pins are they're not exploring the code of the game. They're just focused on one path, and you see that path over and over again. But like to see him just do the whole game, it was just like, wow, that's, I don't know, super impressive to see that skill. All right.
Tom, did you play in the tournament?
I did.
And how did you do?
I did fairly good.
Did you qualify for finals? That's the question.
No.
You didn't. Well, shit.
No.
Yeah, you did. You qualified. Okay, so how?
Well, everybody qualifies for finals.
Well, you showed us the cutoff line for making money, and did you hit the cutoff line for making money?
I was one game away from being in the money, so I was top 40, but
who stopped you from getting money?
Logan Henderson. So
was Chicago player, right, or somewhere in Illinois?
Yeah. Did he drive himself to the tournament?
He's a good kid. I'm pretty sure he did.
Now, Tom did play one player, though, I thought, that could not drive themselves to the tournament.
Yes, that was my first opponent, Miles Bradley.
Yeah,
sorry, Miles.
awesome.
I had to get revenge because Liam knocked me out last year. So
yeah, he had to go to school the next day.
Yeah. The Bradley brothers.
He showed me
they're a problem.
Like he did, and we streamed that match. So I think that was the only match I was on the stream. But he did a perfect scars. Like he
which is
literally
difficult. Yeah.
That's so in Jaws, the scars.
He hit every shot. He went up top on the premium, got the machete, and then hit his final shot. Because I literally walked away as he was playing, and I went over by because there was a TV there with a bunch of like a stadium view, and I went over and I saw he was done, and I was like, wow, he only played for like a minute, and like I walked back over there thinking like, all right, he's probably got like 20-30 million, if even that. I look and he's got like 300 million. And I look back at him and I'm like, the hell did this kid just do? But like, yeah, he started scars, hit like every shot perfect, and then walked away and was like, beat that, Tom Graff.
And did
Tom Graff beat it?
I did not beat that score. No.
Oh. Yeah.
No. I had to,
but it's best 2 out of 3, right?
I had to beat him on my picks. So
nice.
And what were your picks?
Star Wars. I got
Star Wars.
I did the pro and the premium.
Really?
You can do that at Expo.
Yeah.
So you're living proof that an old man can beat a kid on Star Wars.
Yeah, but it'll probably never happen again.
What is it like Carlos says is like you just play old men on Star Wars, that's all you got to do. Like that's the entire strategy. It's something like that.
I watched one of the games we commentated was that, and so the listeners, there's typically 2 of every Stern game that Stern currently sells there, but then some games they have the pro and premium version of the game there. Correct. So during qualifying, the tournament players need to pay attention. The left pro of a game may shoot great, while the right pro of the game, a foot away, may be dangerous. So remember which one. But because the way it is, it's this knockout tournament basically where you win, you keep playing, and but it's best 2 out of 3, and you can pick the same game where you can't pick left pro, right pro, but you can say I want to play Star Wars Pro. And so let's say Tom beats the kid in Star Wars Pro, and then the kid picks Jaws. Well, if it's Tom's pick again, it's like, you know what? I'm picking Star Wars Premium because I already beat you in Star Wars.
Yep.
And I saw that twice. I saw once with Star Wars, a guy picked Pro, then Premium, and then later on there was a guy, one of the kids it was a kid that was battling, I think it was Roy, picked Venom, and he did Venom Pro, and then when it was his pick for the third game, he picked Venom Premium. So it's like,
I think that was Sterling versus him.
Yeah.
But Sterling's really good. Like,
there's some there's some interesting strategy there of like, if you've got a game, you can really lean into it. So it was really cool to watch, and I know there was.
Who'd you pick, Tom? That's what I want to know.
Who
Star Wars?
Oh, Star Wars. I picked Han.
Both times.
Both times.
It worked.
Joel, who would you pick?
When I was commentating, people were either picking Han or R2. That's what I noticed based off of the modes that were lit.
Joel, who would you pick?
I would probably pick, I think it was R2 is what I saw. That I would probably pick R2.
And why would you pick R2?
Because wasn't he, they were like he's one shot away from both, what was it, Endor and Hoth? Not Hoth.
No.
It was the top, Death Star, the top one and the bottom one.
Correct.
Whatever it was there. So that's all I saw. When with it was like one mode, boom, they're in that multi-ball, and then one mode, boom, they're in that multi-ball.
So you would pick R2 for just his mode tree, his mode path.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you pick, Travis?
That's fair. No, I do a little bit of everything. No, one of the reasons why I would pick R2 is because it helps your multipliers like go up quicker.
Oh, I don't know.
Your multipliers don't decay as fast, if I remember right, and you have more multipliers out there also, which helps as well. Because there's a certain decay process that it goes through. I think it's timed. It's been a while since I've done it. And you actually have to know which multiplier to have on what shot based off what it will decay to also. So that way you don't have to worry about moving it again. It'll stay on the prime shots that you need it to be at. So there's like another level of thinking and planning out tactically. And R2-D2 actually helps with that as well.
So there was one move that I was really impressed by. It didn't work, but it was a younger guy. He had something Grant, I think, that he had the Steelers hoodie on. Nate. He had the that was the whole thing. Anyways, he was playing. Nate.
Shout out to Ken. I know Ken listens.
He was playing Star Wars, and to get to TIE Fighter multi-ball, you have to smash that button 50 times. You have to get 50 TIE Fighters. He was close.
Right, 35 on default, 50 in comp if it's set to that. Yep. TIE Fighter destroys. Yep.
He hit the TIE Fighter target, it came whizzing back and went straight down the middle. But he's wailing on the button. At this point, I'm thinking like the ball's gone. He's wailing on the button, then he shakes the whole game to try to get that extra little bit of time with a danger animation. To try to get, because if he could smash that button just a handful more times, it was just like, wow, like that's a big brain move. I wish it would have worked for him. It didn't. He was too far away to like he just the ball. But it was like, wow, I would never think to try to tilt the game, not tilt, but get a danger after the ball's drained to give you more time to complete something. I just thought that was a big brain strat. I thought that was
not only that,
cool.
There's other games you can do that on too. Not with like a danger or anything like that, but you can put the game in such a state that the animations, they have to play out, but you're able to like park the ball somewhere, or you're able to start something and keep a ball save going a little bit longer, multiplier longer, stuff like that.
Crazy.
So, but you won't realize these nuances unless you do a lot of testing. Of testing. Yeah. And that goes back to what we talked about with X-Men. You come up with the idea and then you see what's possible against the software. And what's hilarious is on a lot of these Sterns, there's a ton of stuff that you can do that maybe it's like only a handful of people in the world realize you can even do that. And then once it's shown by Tom Graff in his Fox Cities pinball stream, then everybody knows you can do it. But you can do that even on older games too. Like everybody remembers now, Kaylee George, band maneuver that he did on Johnny Mnemonic with the glove. So yeah, there's tons of stuff. There's all these little nuances. And I think that's what makes tournament pinball to me a lot of fun, that you find these ideas and you just see what you can do with it. And sometimes you'll surprise yourself. You're like, huh. And you look up and you try to confirm with anybody else and you realize nobody else really knows about it. So you're just like, oh, this is cool, because this game has probably been played thousands upon thousands of times by everybody across the world and nobody else really realizes. So that's cool, like the discovery of it. And I think that's what you were seeing right there, Joel, with the Star Wars, that there probably is a lot of people that realize that, but then there's a whole other lot of people that don't know about it. So I think that's what's cool about pinball. Yeah. We're going to have a bunch of listeners with Star Wars now at their home, and they're going to be shoving the machine left and right now whenever they drain just to get the animation. But yeah, if you're
warning sound,
if you're close to a multi-ball on Star Wars and you're going to town on it, you can danger the machine, and that will save you from going to your bonus, and you could resurrect and get your multi-ball going. It's
crazy.
It's pretty cool.
All right. Well, Expo in every way was awesome. Expo, So put it on your calendar for next year. It was great.
I just want my Tom Graf. I want Tom to have enough time to go on the floor. I miss Tom.
Maybe I won't stream next year.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I stopped playing tournaments at some of these places. I realized I didn't really have enough time.
You can't experience the show,
even working a booth, I still got to see more of the show than what I would have playing in a tournament.
I did get called out for not streaming the women's tournament.
Well,
did. It was like that. You should have been awake at 5 in the morning to do that. You should have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude, that women's tournament ran so long. I told you guys, I literally worked a full day. Then I went to the tournament room, talked to a few of the players, found out they were still in early rounds. I was like, huh, are you guys like still going to keep going or what? And this is like 11 or 12 at night. And they're like, I guess we're going to keep going. So then I go to the after party and I come back at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, like just walking past to go to my hotel room.
And they're still
I'm such
playing.
A party animal, Joel.
Yeah.
And they're still playing. But I knew I did not go in there at all. I looked from afar and I saw them all in there and I'm like, you know what? This isn't the time to go in and talk. This is not the time to go in and joke. It is way too late. And I'm not so sure that they're in the mood for that. So I mean,
it's tough.
That tournament ran forever and ever. I don't even know what time they got done with it.
I don't understand. Like, I mean, it's basically like the main tournament. So, I mean, you have everybody making A and B division and they start finals at like 5 p.m. So it's like, I mean, how do you not know it's going to run super late?
I just assumed that they all did. Because when somebody told me, I think it was Elizabeth told me early on, right before the JAWS seminar, that the tournament is supposed to start around 5 or 5:30, sometime around there. And I even looked at Monica because she was debating whether or not to try to qualify. And I even told her right then and there, I said, if you would have qualified for this, I might have told you, hey, here's what it's going to look like if you want to keep playing in it. Like it's because, I mean, the games are set to default, right?
Yeah.
And the players are excellent. Like the players are great. So they're going to play longer games. It's like that across the board, whether it's men's or women's. So or open or women's or whatever, they all play great. Like we talked about the different ages, the different genders and everything. So I think with the sharing of information and the fact that like Tom streams exist, a lot of people are seeing this and seeing what's possible. So everybody knows the strategies and they're getting better with their skills and everything. So that's kind of, it's funny. That goes the exact opposite way of what we talked about before, Tom, whereas it's like games that are set up so hard, you don't get to experience anything. Where games are set up so easy, you experience everything. I
just cannot stream all day long. I mean, I tried to do that with Andy's Silver Ball Super Social. Like, the first night went till like 2:33 a.m. Then the next night, same thing. I got up the next day. I'm on, an average of 3 to 4 hours of sleep for 2 days straight. And it's like,
nope.
Yeah. And then like,
that's not worth it. Yeah. That's brutal.
No. And I ended up bailing on the finals for that. I mean, it's just like, you can't expect that stuff. I mean, maybe
Robo Tom.
Yeah.
Tom,
you need shifts. You need shifts.
I cannot do that stuff anymore. I'm not.
The fact is, if you get Tom on less than 6 hours of sleep, you get salty Tom. But if you get Tom on less than 3 hours of sleep, oh, buddy, you're in for it. And that's, we all find this out early. So like, I'm sure you guys were like this back in college. Like I was like, well, I don't need sleep. I'm fine. I can be fine. And even like in my 20s, I'm like, I don't need sleep. Early 30s, I don't need sleep. I hit 40. I'm like, I need sleep. Like I have to. And it's just, it's rough because it throws off your whole entire week if you don't get a good night's rest or even a half decent sleep.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe this is go ahead. Sorry.
No, Joel, how are you sleeping? That's what we need to know.
I mean, I took off of work for, basically 3 days. And I mean, I got to go back to work. So like Monday rolls by, I gotta continue with my life.
I mean, so, Tom, I would not want you putting anything in my mouth unless you have a full night's rest. Let me tell you.
Yeah, maybe I got to cut back on the streaming then, or pick events that aren't going to,
go so late. Yeah,
go so late.
Well, I think it's fair to stream whatever event you want, and I think it's completely fair to stream within the hours that are reasonable. For health and everything. It's
Well, and that's it. I mean, and maybe you guys don't know, but I do have like I have AFib, and if I don't get enough sleep, if I'm stressed out, my heart goes out of whack. So I got to kind of control that by doing healthy things.
Yeah. And I feel like streaming super late at night is not that.
No. Yeah. Not getting 3 hours of sleep is getting 3 hours of sleep a night is not healthy.
We want our Tom to stick around.
Maybe other people can do it, but so I don't know. We'll see how we'll think about things and see if I want to do it next year.
So, to transition on that note, I stayed up super late Wednesday night.
At Expo or this past Wednesday?
This past Wednesday.
Oh, you want to talk about Monster Bash?
Well, gotcha. I looked at the time and realized we do need to wrap up, but
we do?
Yeah, I got to be done in 15 minutes.
Oh, Joel, you're going to be happy with me. I got an appointment later today at work with a member of a pro sports team here in St. Louis that uses a ball and a bat. It's going to be really cool. But I'm not going to sell them Monster Bash. Hopefully X-Men.
Okay, good.
That's a good transition.
Luck. Why are they using you as a salesman? There's got to be somebody better. There's got to be
because I'm the baseball person, Joel.
Oh,
I connect.
I got it. Yeah.
I connect. Yeah, I'm the one that knows. All right, Monster Bash. What did you experience on Monster Bash?
Here's my thing, and I'll keep it short. Monster Bash has always been on like my short list of games that I'd like to have. I think Universal Monsters. It's a great theme. It's a theme I knew my kids would like, my wife would like. Zach, this is his personal one. He let me borrow it. I was super excited to get it here. I streamed it. I got it on a Tuesday, streamed it that Wednesday, just getting to Monsters of Rock. That's the mini wizard mode. That was like the goal of the night. Got to that. I was like, great. I was like, okay. But in my mind, everything that I've heard about this game, it's shallow. And I was thinking the only way you can get to Monsters Rock is the final one. I got to the middle wizard mode, Monster Bash. So to get to Monsters Rock, you have to collect all their instruments. To collect all their instruments, I assumed you had to get everybody lined up and then start Frankenstein. I didn't think you'd have a chance to do it if you're doing the modes individually. The very next day, I went to play the game. I beat the game. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, that's not impossible. Like, it's right there. And it's like, once you beat a game, the joy of wanting to play it goes down a little bit. So I was like, oh, this game's a lot easier than I thought. And I played the game later that day. I was playing it with my son, and I was one instrument away from beating it again. And I'm like, okay, I get it now. I understand why this game isn't in a lot of people's collections or high-end players, because you can just blow through it. So earlier in the week, I actually beat Cactus Canyon as well. I'm like, but Cactus Canyon, to me, there's more depth there. And it's like a perfect level of difficulty for me. It's achievable, but it's not every game. It's achievable. So Wednesday night, we didn't have a new game to stream. Zach put up a poll. They said, let's play Cactus Canyon. So I had set it up in a way I was like, I'll play Cactus Canyon, but if I beat it, then I can move to Monster Bash, thinking the depth of both of these games is enough that I could beat them both on stream. Played Cactus Canyon on stream, did well, but couldn't beat it. And then I was like, you know what? We're moving to Monster Bash, thinking, oh yeah, I'll beat this on stream, no problem. No, I stayed up an extra 45 minutes, played for 2 hours, 45 minutes playing that game. I got one instrument away, I think twice, from beating that game. And so now my feelings of Monster Bash has changed. It's like, here I am thinking, oh yeah, this easy game. I can beat this whenever I want. No, I can't. I can't beat it whenever I want. It's just, it dangles the carrot. It's right there. It's right there. And I just think...
So you're saying it's like the perfect layout and rule set.
Yeah, it's
for like a player of your caliber to want like one more.
The one more game is right there. And
that's the sweet spot, yeah.
And I really like it, but I understand a lot of other games, a lot of modern Sterns, I understand the right there moment is not the final wizard mode. I'm never going to see the final wizard mode of Godzilla, but there's something else lower down that's my right there moment. That's my goal. Mm-hmm. If I can get to that in that game, then I did something. So
Tom, you have a Monster Bash, don't you?
I used to have Tom has one. Like early on when I first got into collecting, I bought one.
Now, have you done what Joel's done on it?
Yeah.
Destroy it? Oh yeah. You guys are a whole nother level of play. But
well, it doesn't always happen. I mean, sometimes players, I don't know how long Tom's had
difficult. I think the game I have is at default. I could turn off extra balls.
Remove the outlane post, see what happens.
Put the outlane posts up. Oh yeah, a lot of that.
There was one
Joel.
Oh yeah, Joel. If you want to see a crazy Monster Bash, if you want to go down this rabbit hole, look up on. I think it's probably going to be on Pinball Videos. Look up Monster Bash at Indisc, and I think this was 2018 maybe. Like this was played in finals. I think either Final 8 or Final 4, and the winning score was like 7 million. That thing played so mean. Yeah, so incredibly mean. Well, but it's interesting.
So, and my last remark is yesterday with Halloween, we had a whole bunch of family over. It was awesome. That game was played nonstop. Monster Bash from everybody that was here, kids to adults, played nonstop. And it just really makes me, as a pinball enthusiast, a collector, it's like, why? Like, why is this game so loved? And I just think it's like all the toys are just right out there in front of you. And there's no confusion on what to hit. The only thing I had to explain was Dracula. Like, nobody knew. I'm like, dude, Dracula's in this coffin. What? Like, how do I get him out? I'm like, focus on this. And if you ever see that lid, hit the scoop. And the moment he shows up and this moving back and forth, it's like, and I'm like, why is there no Dracula mech? And why is that uncommon? And then I think of Jaws with the fin. It's the same concept. This thing pops up and it's moving and you want to see it, you want to hit it. And so, I don't know, it just... The more that I've played Cactus Canyon and Monster Bash, these games really speak to me, scream. I understand they're too easy for your level, but for other people that are listening,
but that's okay though.
I get it.
It's okay. There's players at different levels. So like to give you an example of this, because what you're talking about is just user experience, right?
Yeah.
No matter what so one of the things, that's what Monica, and we didn't mention this at Expo, but there was a Princess Bride there from Multimorphic, and Monica just loves that game because she loves the theme and everything. But then it's like all the shots feel accessible for what the layout's supposed to be for that. And plus the rules make sense, like thematically makes sense, doesn't feel overwhelming. And that's kind of the same way Monster Bash is, right? Like the rules feel really accessible, yet you can go deeper and get into certain nuance with collecting instruments and stacking things together. Absolutely. And everything like that. So that's the type of stuff that would appeal to a novice or to somebody that's never played pinball or somebody that's just an elite level player. Like there's still certain nuances in the game that's fun. And I think that's what Monster Bash hits. And even like Princess Bride, it hits the same thing. So I think there's a certain elegance to simplicity with that. Well, it's easy to explain too, just like you said.
Oh yeah,
like hit this shot to make this happen, and it's cool when you do it.
My nephew Marcus, I mean, his goal was like, once he realized you're collecting these creatures, it's like, well, he's like, I've gotten everybody but creature. What do I have to do? I'm like, well, you have to hit it 4 times. Look at the thing, or like, how did I get Wolfman? Yep. Well, you do this, and once you explain that little bit of thing, that was his goal. Just throughout the night, he played it nonstop. Like, can I at some point collect all 6? And yeah, just explain it. Like, so now if you had asked me 3 days ago, would you ever own Monster Bash? No, I'm bored of it. I beat it. It's easy, but now it's like, I know I could get better at the game, but I see the appeal to it. And I think it really sparks this, I don't know, like why, like for modern pinball, I know designers focus really hard on people at your level, all the way down to people at my level or lower, but just, I don't think it's necessarily the fan layout. Maybe it's just a really good theme, or the fact that there are so many toys, but they're interactive toys. Like I don't know the secret sauce. So it gets me excited about CGC is saying, once again, their Medieval Madness is pushed back to like spring of next year. But if I can buy a Medieval Madness, I'm going to buy one, just because I want to get it out of my system. I want to.
So you want to know what the secret sauce?
Tell me what the secret sauce is, Travis.
What it is?
I think I know what he's going to say.
Yeah, and Tom knows this because he's owned enough of these games. It's, you want to create an emotion for the player as early as possible in their experience.
Okay.
And that's what a lot of these old school games do well.
Okay.
That the rule set is insanely accessible, just like you told them, or you told somebody, you hit this shot 4 times to make this happen, right? Or you hit this shot this many times to make this happen. And then when you can physically see something happening that goes beyond a light show or goes beyond a sound, right? That adds to it. But you still need the light show and you still need the sound, right? To really, really make it all come together. And I think that's what those old school games do great. And there are some modern games that do that. And we talked about, I mean, it's going to be cliche, but we talk about pinball moments. But the reality is that you want to get an emotion early on out of a player. And that's what, like we talked about before, that's what Pulp does excellent on. It's like, as soon as you plunge, you realize you're in the Pulp Fiction world. Like, you hear the actual, not just, you don't hear pinball call outs, which I love. You hear the movie quotes, and they make sense in the places that they're put in, right? And it makes sense. Like, I have to get into the pawn shop by just knocking down these drop targets and hit it into that scoop. And then when you do that, it does like a little light show, or the same way with the inline targets, and it does the get down. And, you move the briefcase around. So stuff like that, I've noticed more than anything else working in the pinball industry, that a lot of your people out there that want to experience pinball. Jeez. Wow. Even him. He must be pumped. CJ must be like, but that's the emotion they want. Right? It's like, it's just, it's bringing you into that world. And you can do that through a variety of ways. It's like, it's just the hook. You got to do that so quick in it. And I think that's what Monster Bash does great. And that's why it sticks around great, because you could flail around and accidentally make a moment happen. So
true. Yeah. I get it. Yep. I just, for people who are listening to this, you're probably one of two. You're either like, I got Monster Bash, that's never leaving, or you're like, I had it and I got bored of it. I mean, that's so many, like, I've talked to multiple people, they've had it and they just got bored of it because they're that good. But I understand, I don't want to make a game harder physically, because
you do.
The reason
screw them kids, screw that family. That's what I do all the time,
but
Joel.
if I open
enjoy
the
these gobbling out lanes,
then
get better, Joel. Tell them to get better. Turn off the ball save. Say flip better. Hit your shots. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
How do you think Neil got so good?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, when my son Calvin can act like. Wait, yes. If I ever think that Calvin's getting too good, then I'll make sure to. But right now, I'm just trying to get him to not to double flip, like just flip one at a time.
Before we go on, Joel, you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about people like the game leaving for various reasons. So, Tom, you said you had Monster Bash, but you don't have it any longer.
Yep.
So you have a ton of games. Like, why did you get rid of Monster Bash? And is there any games that were a reason why you got rid of it?
At the time I owned Transformers and Lord of the Rings. They're all Gomez's. They're all similar design. And I was just like, Monster Bash just isn't that deep. I can get far into it. Whereas Lord of the Rings, I had to like really work at it to get deeper into the game. So, I mean, at the time that was the rationale. Like, I'll keep Lord of the Rings and get rid of Monster Bash.
Does Lord of the Rings have fun experiences in that first 3 minutes of playing?
Sure. You
like
gotta
for a novice,
bash the Balrog. You gotta start
a
modes.
Novice is going to experience those, or no?
I think bashing the Balrog, yeah. I mean, that's not a hard thing to do.
Okay.
But
yeah,
there are certain things on games though. So I got to experience this too. I told you guys about this at a kid's birthday party just the other day. So they had pinball machines actually at this one place. I think it's like called Kokomo Joe's or whatever. 3 pinball machines with the Godzilla. None of the parents there have ever played pinball. Okay. So I took a couple of them over there. I'm like, hey, let's go play a game and everything. And this is like the first time I've ever met them. They just saw that I was wearing a pinball shirt and that just sparked conversation. I'm like, oh yeah, it's really cool. Come see this. And they saw it all. They didn't understand what was happening. But then once I showed them, hey, here's the building on Godzilla. Here's what it could do. They were just like all just enamored with it, tickled to death because you could actually hear the sound to it too, see the building moving up and down. So I literally spent the next 10 minutes starting multi-ball for everybody that was there and then letting them take over and just have fun with it. And that's the thing. It's like we forget a lot of the times because we've played pinball so much and we've seen the same things happen over and over again. There's a certain magical element to experiencing those things for the first time and kind of seeing what's possible on something and kind of seeing everything come together. So to me, that's cool. And I think Monster Bash can do that for a lot of people because everybody can identify with monsters, right? It's like everybody knows Dracula, Wolfman and all that. So
I've had a lot of modern games in the last few years coming in and out of this house, and my nephew, they come over all the time, and it's like, it really tells me a lot when they step up to a game and put 1 or 2 games on it and then just like move over to Cactus Canyon or they move over to Godzilla. And it's like, it's like, wow, okay, there's nothing in that game that grabbed them. But then to see Marcus last night, like nonstop, the whole night, boom, Monster Bash the whole time. It's like, okay, I get it. I get that there's
toys are fun.
That's what makes Metallica fun too. Now I think about it, it's like, you bring somebody in that's a huge Metallica fan, and it's like, just hit it up the middle, and you'll make Sparky do stuff. Like that's simple.
Or the moment it goes in the snake's mouth, now it's like boom. Or I think the hammer is the only thing when people see that and the ball go under the playfield. That's the one. That's the one toy that's a little further away from the start button to experience how cool that is. There's some cool stuff. Metallica's going to be great. But anyways, we need to wrap up.
Joel's got to go, everybody.
Joel's the one wrapping up early today. Unbelievable. For the record, everybody, Tom and I would go for like 4 hours if we could.
I don't know if, I feel like there's a chance the quality of conversation.
Between the hours of 1 a.m. and 5.
Well, hey, if you want to hear Tom and Travis talk more, I'll plug it for you. The Pinball Players podcast on Fox.
What? No, that's not what it is.
Pinball Pulse. Wasn't it Pinball Players at some point? Am I wrong?
Somebody else. There was.
No,
that's not us.
Not.
There's another
I'll look
podcast
it
called
up.
the
I'm
Pinball
so sorry.
Players podcast.
Pinball Pulse. It's on.
It's not even a podcast.
He doesn't even know what it's on.
Yeah,
it's on Twitch. But didn't you call it podcast? No, he's giving me all this doubt.
At the beginning, it was, but it's not a podcast.
It had the word podcast in it, didn't it?
It did.
We changed it.
It did. It changed.
It's a show now.
So
it's a show.
So it's what? Pinball Pulse show?
We're calling it Flipping Out with Friends, Joel. All the way off our backs.
Pinball Players Podcast. Who the heck is Pinball Players Podcast?
He doesn't even know the name of it.
It's somebody. I wanted to see who is actually Pinball Players Podcast.
So you were kind of close.
You even know what channel it's on, Joel.
Well, we're giving Joel shit. It's actually
on
called
Twitch.
It's Pinball Pulse.
Twitch.
It's Pinball Pulse, a pinball players podcast.
And it's on
That's
Fox
what it
Cities
was
Pinball.
labeled, but it's kind
Yeah.
of going through some stuff. It's still
Yeah.
Pinball Pulse.
So the
You're
Pinball
right.
Players podcast was part of it. I
It's
didn't just make
one
it up.
part of it. Just
Okay.
one part of it. It's like saying like Transformers,
Yeah.
Dark of the Moon.
Robots in
the,
Disguise.
the
Robots
Dark
in
of the Moon
Disguise
thing.
podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Pinball Pulse. If you liked the tournament conversation that we had 20 minutes ago and you want 2 hours of it,
And you want more.
make sure you subscribe to Fox Cities Pinball. It's
Hell
actually
yeah.
great. It's awesome. Tom's really good at getting good guests on. They talk nothing about tournament pinball. Keep up the good
we
work.
talk everything tournament pinball, not talk nothing about tournament pinball.
Did I say
You talk
nothing
nothing.
but?
No, you said
That's
nothing.
why it's time to wrap it up. I
You said
can't even say
nothing.
words.
You're
sound
all
like
over
Travis.
the place.
I know,
You're
sorry,
all over the place,
sorry, Tom.
bro.
Do you want to
Like,
plug
no-
your own thing, Tom, so you can say the
No
right
wonder you couldn't drive the golf
If you
cart
want to
during
see
Halloween.
really
Holy cow.
mediocre play,
thing?
check out Flipping Out Pinball
Yes.
on Twitch.
On YouTube.
On
Yeah,
YouTube.
I love how we're just
Yeah.
roasting each other's content.
If you want to see a guy hit one ramp for 30 minutes, check out the Pinball Company's YouTube channel, X-Men Launch Party. You won't see the guy because his camera goes out, you dingus.
That's
Yeah,
true.
but,
it did go.
and then the
out.
audio drops
and
out.
no
Yeah.
audio from
The
the
audio
game
drops out
either.
after ball one.
And I get paid for that too.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm.
Biggest pinball grift ever. I
Yeah.
get paid to do that. Yeah.
Can Carrie do videos? I bet she could figure it out.
We're about to. We got some things coming along. It's just taking time. Certain things have
It's like
priority
code.
over each other.
It takes time, Joel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's
You're not
like
going to
my
get your game finished when it comes out the door.
You'll see a fully fleshed out YouTube
even if the game has been
tutorial 3
done
years from now.
before,
It
not
won't be
going to be done.
Uh,
All right. So those are the plugs. Tom, you got more to plug?
No, I'm good.
Travis,
Oh,
you got
hey.
anything
Oh
to
wait,
plug?
actually, I
Well,
do. I'm going to be streaming. We'll probably. I'm going to be streaming at Atomic Pinball Arcade Winter Bash in December. It's a Stern Pro Circuit event. Joel, you wouldn't know anything about that, but everybody else that's listening, you know what I'm talking about. So if you want to tune in for that,
Yeah.
it should be a good time. A lot of good
signups
players
are
signed up.
ongoing.
Mm.
Yep, signups ongoing too.
Yes,
right now for that.
you can
I'll
still
tune in,
sign
Tom.
up.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said I'll tune in. I'll tune in.
Okay.
Hey Joel, I
if you
just
want
got.
to, it's probably closer to you if you want to come and just commentate.
Mm.
Just come hang
Oh,
out.
that would be great.
Travis
could
and
come
I will
hang
be
out,
there.
Joel.
So
I got a spot right there in my basement. You could
it
sleep.
is the last Stern
Good.
Pro Circuit event of the year, Joel.
Bum, bum, bum. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
We can keep going with the podcast now. I just found out
mm,
I'm delayed till another day to
Till
meet
your
with
meeting?
the client. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
and I have vacation next
all
week,
right,
so
let's
it can't
keep
be
it
next
going.
week.
I've already got a
So,
text
yeah.
about needing to go out to lunch, so that's why I said
With
we need to
who?
wrap it with my wife
Tell-
and children. You know?
don't
Yes.
these kids go to school?
No, we have today off. Which is random.
Yeah.
They did like a teacher day, and it's a great day
Yeah.
to do it because all the kids were up super late last night with Halloween and whatnot. But
My son had that last week.
Travis, you got anything to
True.
plug?
No, I think
Good.
you guys pretty much shit on everything, so we're good. It's
Good.
fine.
All right.
Everybody knows where to find me. So
Yep. And then, you need 3 YouTube. Subscribe to Fox Cities Pinball, subscribe to the Pinball Company, and subscribe to Flipping Out Pinball
There you
on
go.
YouTube. We're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers. We're like 200 away to get there, which would be awesome. Check it out. I've done some tutorial videos recently, and then Jared and I, we stream every Wednesday night, so you can click the live tab and check
Joel,
those
I'm
out.
streaming Papa events and I can't get even that many subscribers. I got to start
you just
playing
gotta-
more mediocre.
Yeah, that's where it's at. That's where it's at. People relate to mediocre, Tom. They relate to it, you know? But all right. Well, I appreciate you guys. This was fun. Thanks to all our supporters on Patreon. Thanks for the people that do that. Check out our merch on Silverball Swag, all the stuff. But we will definitely record again. It's November 1st. It's crazy. We'll definitely get something out before Thanksgiving. But yeah, this is fun.
Will we? Man, are you committing Tom and I to more
We'll
work
definitely
right
get
now?
something out before Thanksgiving. We'll figure it out. All right.
You're
like
making
I'll
always,
me
let you
Tom.
guys know my Vegas experience. That's what I'll do.
No,
Can't
great. Like always, Tom, you get the last words.
Go out and vote.